Absolutely.
Good morning to Neil.
Buenos dias.
And ¿cómo está? Better day today?
Better than what? What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Yesterday when you came on, you were upset about something here. But
how unusual.
Manish Tana.
Yeah, how unusual.
But the winds of change are blowing in this place.
Yeah, it blows all right. You can say that again. Hank said this place blows. You're not talking about the water Nazi now, are you? Don't pick on her.
I didn't say anything except that I heard she's leaving.
Yeah. Well, we're really going to have quite a big bash as a send-off.
Oh! Is the Toddle House taking reservations?
I think that place that Skipper Chuck used to advertise.
What was that? Oh, I know the place you're talking about.
Tropical Acre.
Yeah.
Where they bring a glass of fizzy water for you to put your teeth in on the...
we had a couple of Christmas parties there.
Yeah, I heard that. Figures.
Probably a trade.
I'm sure it's a fine place. I don't know. I think I ate there once, but it impressed me as the Death Plus 20 crowd eating in there.
It's an older group.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's the death group in there. And then, of course, yesterday I was having really a fine day, and then the phone rang. It was your buddy Clarence. You know, you have created more. I told you this a couple of weeks ago. More monsters between Stu Gotts and Clarence. Boy.
Why, Stu Gotts call you too?
No.
Oh.
Clarence was more than enough.
Yeah.
Give me a lecture on life.
I was talking about when Ken Walden was the program director at WGBS years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they went out and covered the Doral, and Ken got a houseboat and had it anchored on the 18th green or adjacent to it. And they had beer for everybody, and they had people out on the course filing reports, and they had fun.
Yeah.
Ken's not that busy these days. He'd be a good PD.
Yeah, there you go. We need a real PD. We got a junior PD. Calls here to give me instructions on life yesterday. Yeah, I was having a really good food day yesterday. I was doing really well. In fact, my weight's pretty good right now. But after that phone call, I was so aggravated by getting 20 minutes in the middle of the afternoon, much ado about nothing. Bop, 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 you know, just buzzing in my ear. I went across to the convenience store. I got 3 Nestle's. They're very small. 3 Nestle's ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, God.
No, that's only the beginning. And then, of course, I ate those 3 so fast that it stimulated my appetite, so I went over and got 3 more.
You ate 6 ice cream bars?
Ice cream sandwiches.
Ice cream sandwiches?
Well, these are the real small ones. But, I mean, they're, not good, Clarence. Thanks a lot for screwing up my blood sugar and messing up my life. You're a killer, Clarence, you idiot, you quisling.
You fairy.
You simpleton. God, is he a moron. But then again, we got to have somebody do UN basketball, you know. Now, let's see, is that a home game tomorrow, or is he going to be getting out of here today?
The game is in Maryland tomorrow.
Oh, it's an away game.
College Park.
Bye-bye, Clarence.
Nice
Don't hurry
campus
back.
up there.
What is it?
It's a nice campus.
No. Well, I'll take your word for it. Where is it?
It's not too far
Baltimore?
from Washington. No, it's closer to Washington.
No.
College Park, Maryland.
Well, I'll take your word for it. And it's almost as exciting as Homestead, where David Sampson may be building a stadium now.
No, what I said was that they actually left there with an agreement that he'll enter a car in the Homestead race.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what that was about.
Oh, is it going to be a Cadillac Seville?
On their budget, it'll be a Volkswagen.
Oh. Yeah, David Sampson met yesterday with 3 Homestead representatives to discuss moving the team to the site of the city's baseball complex. Oh, give me a break. I think we can build a fan base here if there are a lot of people in commuting distance, said Poison Ivy. That's the city manager, Kurt Poison Ivy.
No, there's a lot of people flocking to Homestead these days.
Oh, my God, I can't imagine a better place for the Marlins. Far away from most people where they'll be safe.
What you want to do, it reminds me of a story about when they did a study. The people who had the Burger King franchise on Las Olas and the beach, okay, and they got it very cheap because when when Burger King did the traffic studies, they measured traffic coming from all directions. And since there was no traffic coming from the ocean, they said, oh, we only have three-way traffic coming in here, and the guy stole the place. That's what Homestead is. Homestead is in a place where you can only get there from one direction, and that's a bad idea.
It would be like putting it down in the Keys, you know, so everybody could drive over that rickety highway.
Just a little further.
Right.
So.
You know, the Marlins situation reminds me of the Panthers. The difference being there are a lot more baseball fans, obviously, down there than there are hockey fans, but, you know, it's the same thing. If you don't build me the arena, blah, 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 I'm going to move to Nashville. That was the threat at the time, Portland or Nashville. And so they built that big, gigantic arena there, the Mac Arena. It's a beautiful place. The people that go there, 90% of them spend their time wandering around in the hallway, schmoozing and drinking and eating and filling their fat face, and on a cell phone talking to Aunt whatever her name is, Esther, and nobody's coming. And like I told you yesterday, your buddy is on the verge of dismantling that team, too, because he wants to do it on the cheap and doesn't want to keep pouring more millions into it. And so what did that accomplish? I mean, you know, it's nice for concerts, I guess, but what did that accomplish? And the same thing, this business, if we just have the stadium, people will show up. No, they won't. They could build a beautiful stadium right next door to the current stadium.
You know, they built that stadium.
And fielding a minor league team out there isn't going to get people to show up. They keep pissing people off more and more and more, chasing them away. Oh, gee, why don't you come and support our franchise? Because you're putting out crap, that's why.
They built a stadium in Phoenix that's supposed to be one of these state-of-the-art places with a swimming pool out beyond center field.
Maybe they can drown the Gretzky's in it.
Well, they're not drawing any people.
Well, there you go. Good.
The first couple of years, everybody was excited about it. Just like baseball was here. The first couple of years, they drew people.
Sure. It's a novelty. It's something new and exciting.
But it doesn't guarantee you long-term success.
Well, especially when you keep having fire sales and dismantling the team. People get disrespected. Now, this is the second time around for this routine. So. Yeah. It's like your president says, fool me once, can't get fooled again, or whatever the hell he said.
What does he say? He just says, I didn't know about that.
He says, blah, 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 like that.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, about that deal with the Arabs. Well, we don't want to piss off the Arab street now. We don't want to get those people angry on the Arab street. That's the new deal. Well, by the way, I got a story today about the fact that the Dubai Ports Company enforces the Israeli boycott. They will not ship any product that was made in Israel. So not only does not the government of the UAE recognize Israel, but the ports firm enforces the Arab boycott against Israel. So any product that was made in Israel will just, who knows where they put it. I have an idea. Maybe under their schmatas, I don't know.
Rectum.
They're hiding it somewhere.
Well, I won't be going there for any horse racing event.
You know, it's funny you should mention that because I just had the racing, just astonishing. I just had it on there a couple of minutes ago watching some of last night's activity. And on the bottom, the crawl was the Dubai, they got the big races there because all those schmata-heads have got the big bucks on all the big races.
24th.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to have that on the racing. I'll be sure to miss that. Doobie. Bye.
What they did over there was they duplicated Churchill. They have so much money, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They duplicated Churchill Downs.
Well, I'm glad they're having a good time with it because most of it is our money, so I'm glad that they're having a field day with it. But we don't want to get angry at the Arab street, you understand, whatever that is. And now the new deal, CNN 24/7 now to cover up all the other scandals that are going on in the ports deal. Now it's Mardi Gras. It's on there right now. There you go. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, Good Morning America was doing a lot of
They're
stuff
all over it like
morning.
stink on the water Nazi, man. They're just obsessed with it. 24/7 with a Mardi Gras. Meanwhile, all those people whose houses got blown away and are homeless, their houses are still blown away and are homeless, and they're running out of money. They only got $1 billion left in the Katrina fund, which may sound like a lot of money, but it's not when you're dealing with that many people and that many homes.
Yet people want to stay in New Orleans. I read that story, too.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 of them want to stay there.
Well, that's great. I'm happy for them. In fact, maybe you can go open a pup tent concession.
At the fairgrounds.
Look at that. There's Sky Miles O'Brien. He's got his, I thought that was from Hawaii they put those things on. He's got his lei around the neck. They're all goosed up there, all dressed, all drunk like usual in New Orleans, like any other day, like nothing ever happened. The only problem is half of the city is still homeless. But other than that, Why should we care about such things?
Meanwhile, they're saying that next year is going to be a worse hurricane season than last year was.
Remember what I said yesterday about no more trips to Florida for this kid? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a real good idea.
This might be a good time to sell the house.
I'm sure thinking about it. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Especially when I see what the going rate is in that area. Wow. Shocking.
There was a feature today in USA Today about Las Vegas and how it's growing the suburbs are growing. It's not just about the Strip anymore, and they're bringing a lot of doctors in, and businesses are moving there. And the median income residence out there now sells for $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember when you could get a place there for $150,000. It was like huge.
Yeah,
but no more.
I wouldn't want to live there. That crossed my mind once for about 5 minutes. And I drove out there with my rent-a-car, drove out there in the, hinterlands up toward the mountains and looked at the beautiful homes and all the... it looks nice, but the weather, the climate, first of all, is just absolutely intolerable. Unless you like it 115 degrees in the shade. And secondly, I mean, just other than the gambling and the shows, if you're into the shows and eating all those buffets, which would put both of us in a box very soon, what's the big attraction there?
It's just another city.
Yeah.
Once you get away from the Strip.
Right.
Just another town.
It's like Sweetwater.
Well, it's...
Only they speak English.
It's a little nicer than Sweetwater. But there are areas there.
When's the last time you've been in Sweetwater? You better go check it out. It might be... In fact, I'd go over to Hialeah. Maybe Raul will buy
I won't
lunch.
be doing that.
Maybe Raul Martinez will buy a nice lunch in Hialeah. Probably be your last lunch, but... In fact, you remember Louis in the Bronx? I think they just opened one in Hialeah on 49th Street. Raul, when he goes into the tea room there, will probably be reaching for the piece behind the box behind the toilet. I wouldn't be surprised if they still got those kind of toilets in Hialeah.
With the
box.
hand...
The box in the,
Yeah, where you pull the chain to flush the toilet.
I know they got some interesting toilets in Westland where they do the limbo rock up there. I heard a lot of stories about that. Some of our no-speaking English crowd, they like drilling glory holes. They bring along their own power drills when they go to shopping at J.C. Penney's. But that's another story.
So you ready for tomorrow?
Well, I don't know what the big deal is with tomorrow. So it's the 30th anniversary show, and nothing going to happen. It's just going to be another show as far as I know. I sure hope we don't have a bunch of contrived phone calls. And I sure hope I don't get no call from your buddy Clarence again. Jesus, God. You're going to have to live that down the rest of your life.
Clarence?
Yes, you invented him.
Yeah.
He sure did a good job screwing over his buddy Duff, I'll tell you that. He sure turned on him like a cornered rat. Nice going, Clarence, although there is hope because Joe came in this morning to announce to me about somebody leaving. I don't want to mention any names. He resigned. And he tells me that she resigned in honor of my 30th anniversary. I don't believe that, but that would be nice to think that.
In honor of your 30th anniversary?
That I accomplished that. Guess what, Phyllis? I'm still around. You're gone. You're out. You're out, sweetheart. And I suggested to Joe that, she's got all those OJ, all that memorabilia in her office. We could auction it off on eBay. Make some, another cash stream for the company. Maybe then the company could afford to pay Josh Cordes what he's trying to get, a few bucks. Boy, are they cheap. They are so cheap, man. It's just scary.
Kind of like when Michael sat down with the consigliere. You're out.
Yeah, you're out, Tom.
You're out, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I could help. You're out, Tom. And that was when they were making the move to Vegas. See how it all fits together?
Yeah.
This is the pieces of life, the pieces of the puzzle of life. They all fit together, even though they seem all disassociated. Now, did you see the movie Crash yet?
No.
Got to see that. Really good movie.
Crash? Okay.
Yeah. Excellent. Not good, but excellent.
Grieper and Cope are agreeing.
In fact, I saw it last night it was on my cable last night.
Maybe I'll go tonight.
Stumbled on the last hour if it was on again, and I watched the whole last hour.
Oh, it's on cable?
Well, Grieper's got a copy he can lend you.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
How I got mine.
Yeah, but the question is, does Hank have a DVD player at home?
Yeah, I do.
Well, thank God for that. Because how else could you enjoy that beautiful Samsung TV? I got to admit this. Last night I'm channel surfing, and I went to the high definition area, the channels. And there was a college basketball game. I guess it was Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Yep.
I have no interest in either of those teams. I could care less.
I had Oklahoma State with the point.
But the picture on HD with the quality is so sensational.
Yeah.
That you have to watch at least a couple of minutes just to sit there and...
It's so good, it made me want to gamble on the game.
Oh. In fact, probably the picture is so clear that when you have a bet on it, you feel you can reach right in there and block a couple of shots if they're going the wrong way. Yeah. Oh, man, it's incredible. And the good news is that pretty soon everything's going to be HD. That's going to be... I don't know why it isn't already. They got the technology. Just get with it. Get with it already.
It's terrific watching sports on it. Football's great to watch on it.
Yes, absolutely. And hockey, too. I know you're not a fan, but, boy, it's something else.
Yeah.
Except the Olympics. That was on an HD. It was crap.
I didn't watch that. Watched one game.
Did you? Did you actually watch the game?
Yeah.
Who was that?
It was...
not the U.S.
Yeah, I watched Finland and... Who were they playing that
Russia.
game? Well, no, that was the...
Sweden.
Yeah, Finland and Russia. I watched Finland and Russia.
And?
That's all. But it's a great picture.
It is. It's a beautiful thing. Well, listen, have a great day. We got to get working toward that big day tomorrow, March 1. I don't know what that means.
Bye, water Nazi.
Oh, that was some of the best news I heard in a long, long time. Nice going, Joe. You go, Joe.
Oh!
Don't take any wooden nickels. I feel sorry for him because he works for... we could be having a great radio station if he wasn't working for such a bunch of mugwumps. They're the chigger in the woodpile as the Beasleys. Well, you know that. They're very sad.
I'm just trying to get through the last couple of years here.
It's enough to make me want to watch Deliverance
without
and see
incident.
that kid picking the banjo, with that one eye in the middle of his forehead.
Yeah.
That's the Beasleys. Have a great day. I'll see you mañana.
See ya.
Don't lose that money back. There we go. Pick it. Come on, it'll heal up one of these days. Just keep picking it.
Previous programs are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not reflect those of the Beasley Broadcast Group, its staff, advertisers, or agencies.
Tonight on the Islamic Cartoon Network, it's Iraqi and Bullwinkle.
Hey, Iraqi! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my turban.
Oh, Bullwinkle, that trick never works.
Sniff it up my sleeve. Presto!
That was no rabbit, Bullwinkle. That was an insurgent.
Oh, guess I better get a new turban.
The why, the die, cartoon, tune, cartoon. Tune, cartoon. The why, the die, cartoon. You made the Muslims upset. And now they're killing each other and blaming it on the West. Why, the die, cartoon. They say you can't draw Mohammed with a big bomb on his head, or they'll kill each other dead. The why, the die, cartoon.
10:15 at 560 WQM. I have a fax I'm going to read that could be one of the most convoluted, one of the worst backhanded compliments from, what's this guy's name? Herb? In Coral Springs. I'm going to read that momentarily. Don't you think it's like a slap in the face?
Yeah, hey, congratulations, you're great.
Yeah,
but...
and although when Howard's on, I just, I'm not going to be listening to you. I feel bad about it, but screw you. Well, screw you too.
Well, who can compete with that,
Yeah.
Might say
10:16 at 560 WQM. Happy Tuesday, the last day of February, the last day of the 30th year, and all these other things. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. Hey, when you're shopping for shoes, I'll tell you a place that's always exciting, and that's Brandy's Shoes in Pompano Beach. That's why they're still around. I guarantee you, since I've been talking about Brandy's years ago, that 80 zillion shoe stores have come and gone, because who wants to go and buy shoes at an overinflated price when they're buying off-brands to top it all off, and they don't have the selection you're looking for? At Brandy's, I guarantee you, I'll bet you the Water Nazi's life on it, that whatever style suits your fancy, meets your eye, that they got your size on the shelf, in stock, right now, ready to slap on your feet. And we're talking all the major brands like Rockport, Forsheim, Echo, Mephisto, SAS, New Balance, all the other top names. Ask for Arnie at Brandy's. He'll make sure you get a perfect customized fit at the right price every time. Brandy's even specialize in big, fat, wide widths as well, if you've got those platypus-type feet. So Brandy's is worth your trip from just about anywhere in South Florida. Take good care of those Tootsies. For comfort, style, fit, value, and selection, always think Brandy shoes. And you'll find Brandy's at 1290 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Open every day of the week, Monday through Saturday till 9, and every Sunday till 5. And this week is a great time to buy New Balance at Brandy's. All great men's and women's New Balance styles, $10 to $20 off the regular price. So be sure to get into Brandy's this week or do your shoe shopping on their website at brandysshoes.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Rogers guy.
Oh! Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. 3355445. That thing on your ear, it looks so dumb. Wearing that thing looks like it hurts. It's the same size as a garage door opener. I haven't seen one that looks good yet. And how many calls can one guy get? Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. How pretentious. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're born with the Bluetooth on. Wearing that earpiece is so jive. You think you're the coolest dude alive. Trying to be on the cutting edge with a calculator strapped against your head. Use it in the car so your hands are free. Do it all a big favor and drive it to the tree. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're a born with the Bluetooth on. Go away now. Born with the Bluetooth on. You're a born with the Bluetooth on.
1021 at 560 WQM. Speaking of Clarence, moron, I've just, I concocted my solution to the problem with him so I don't wind up eating 6 ice cream sandwiches ever again or going out and buying like a tub of ice cream.
Right, bad idea.
Next time I pick up the phone and his voice is on the other end, you know what he's going to hear? That's it. Excellent guess. That's what he's going to hear. I will put the thing in the cradle. The hand that rocks the cradle.
Okay.
So here's this fax from Herb in Coral Springs, which I'm sure he's not listening now, because I'm sure that Howard is still on Sirius, you know. Anything else, Robin? Anything else, Robin? Any more boobs, Robin? You know, I don't want to pick on Howard, but I'm so sick and tired of the groupies, you know, including my own groupies. I'm just not, the radio groupies nauseate me and always have. It's a long fax. He says, congratulations on 30 years.
About 30, man.
In fact, the faxes and the tributes are just pouring in from... oh, man, what a place. He says, I've been with you since 1987 when you were with WINZ. I remember the station's jingles and the CBS News at the top of the hour. I don't remember any WINZ jingles when you come right down to it. Do we have jingles on INZ? I don't remember any.
I don't know.
We had them on IOD.
Right?
Right? Did we?
I don't know from whence, with all due respect.
I don't think we had no jingles. We had jingles at Zeta, but we had jingles at INZ.
WIOD. Oh, I hate that station.
Oh, me too. Anyway, Herb says, I really feel guilty now that you've fallen to my second choice with regards to hearing your show live. Now, this is a guy who starts out by going on about what a big fan he is, and he's been listening for the whole 87, it's 19 years. I've had Sirius for over 2 years, but with a crisp, clean signal and the topic content of Howard, I find myself sticking with his programming and a wrap-up show that follows at 11 a.m. The wrap-up show. Oh, no.
Maybe they got big-name rappers.
As further punishment, I sometimes flip over to the West Coast feed to catch anything I might have missed 3 hours earlier. I know I'm not alone because my brother, who's a cop in Delray, also falls into the same trap. I find myself downloading your show and listening to it on delay. Again, I want to let you know I feel real guilt on my part, knowing that your listenership has to be taking a hit because of the Howard Sirius situation. Now, I guess since he's been around so long, he must have his Alzheimer's kicking in. Because remember when Howard was on Big, like on an over-the-air station, not just on Sirius, which is narrowcasting, which very few people have it? Remember when he was on Big?
Yeah.
And he was also staying on till about 10:45, some days 11 o'clock. And every rating book, we kicked the crap out of him between 10 and 11. Remember that?
Yep.
I had just mentioned that in passing. Because I guess I'm supposed to be real concerned and nervous, according to my good close friend Herb, who leaves his phone number, but I'd love to speak with me anytime. No, thanks, Herb.
Maybe he can explain to you why, you know.
Why what?
Why he likes Howard better than
he doesn't want to miss a word, don't you understand? He even sometimes flips over to the West Coast feed to catch anything he might have missed 3 hours before. He's not a fan or a groupie. He's obsessed.
I see.
Obsessed.
Well, you never know when Howard's going to say something.
I only wish that you and Sirius could come to some arrangement so you could get on. He says, you and George would be great on satellite. There should be no reason why you couldn't continue on QAM and do a little something on Sirius outside of the 10 to 2 p.m. hours. No, thank you. 4 hours a day of this crap is more than enough for me. Howard is still desperate for programming. No kidding, Herb. For some reason, Pharrell and Danny Donaducci, see, I got to be careful what I say there, Danny Donaducci have not yet signed. Oh, that's another great talent he's got on there. Forgot about that.
Great.
Danny Donaducci.
Yeah.
From the Partridge Family, who was in the closet all that time with John Travolta and Tom Cruise. How do you like that? Too bad R. Kelly didn't get him. So he's got all these... See, he says, no one is talking about it. I know Howard knows about you, and I can only speculate there must be some bad blood between you. I only hope that someday we can hear you on Sirius, whether it is with or without Howard. You deserve to do a little time on free speech radio before you retire. It's got nothing to do with bad blood. What it's got to do with is I have a contract here for 3 more years, and, they don't have anybody that's under contract anywhere else. Because they don't want to buy anybody's contract out. They're too cheap. Howard wants all the money for himself, don't you understand? That's why there isn't anybody on there.
All for me.
That's it. So the only people they put on are people like Bubba the Love Sponge, who can't get back on terrestrial radio, and Pharrell, and people have gotten fired everywhere else they've ever been, including Danny Donaducci. Regardless, Herb says, I'll continue to listen to you via downloads unless Howard is in rerun. Oh, in other words, when Howard's in rerun, then we get to hear Herb gets there live. Oh, I can't wait for Howard to be in rerun. There's nothing like live programming. You pioneered that concept by letting George do his thing. Thanks again for my years of great radio, Herb in Coral Springs. Then he's got his phone number. Would love to speak with you anytime. Herb? No chance. I don't know why I'm talking to him like he would be listening now. There's no chance he's going to be listening to this now.
You're
or his
just
brother, the Captain
noon.
Del Rey. No, there's no chance, Herb. None. So I'm very sorry that I've let you down after all these years. This is exactly what you... See, there's no surprises in South Florida. You get exactly what you expect.
Nothing.
Right. No, you get something, but it's always sour, you know? Remember because I don't know about you, but I like hot and sour soup or sweet and sour soup.
Yeah, I don't.
Thai or Chinese. I like that a lot.
No, I don't like
But here in South Florida, you only get the sour part.
Right.
No sweet, no hot, just the sour.
Like this aspirin I'm sucking on. Sour.
It's sour, that's right. Wow. So thanks a lot, Herb, and I'm tearing your message into little pieces now along with your phone number. Thank you so much. Here's the poll result. I guess we better do the break first because I got a couple of other faxes. The faxes are just pouring in, man. It's emotional.
Neil Rogers.
I'm choked up about it.
This is 560 QAM. Tonight on the Islamic Cartoon Network, it's Pakistan Pig.
Abdul, whatever you do, don't eat me, Abdul. Disgusted. I'm unclean. Won't take the train. You won't carpool. You see a Hummer. You start to drool. You won't walk for 20 feet. You'd rather take your SUV. You can't drive, you can't heat without crude. You're in deep. You need it for your plastics. Withdrawal symptoms make you sick. Whoa, you like to think there's lots more under the soil. Oh, yeah, that's what you think. That ain't the truth, though. Closer to the truth to say you're totally spoiled. You know, you're gonna have to face it. You're addicted to oil. Might as well face it. You're addicted to oil. Might as well face it. You're addicted to oil. Come on, Laura. Might as well face it. You're addicted to... Yeah, dance with them girls. Might as well face it. They're addicted to oil. Might as well...
10:33:27 before the hour. Let's see, we got Bo again today between 2 and 4 in the spot where Mo used to be, but we ain't no Mo, and we got the revolving door. Mad Dog 4 to 7. Panther preview at 7. We just had the promo on that, so you should know that by now. Panthers at the Lightning at 7:30. Could be a pretty, well, I don't know what it's going to be. We'll see. And then Eddie K after the hockey game. Poll from yesterday. What is the oddest name in sports today? They hated this poll like poison. We had 1,540 votes. Dick Trickle 412. I hate this poll, 240. I hate sports, 143. Coco Crisp, 129. Peekaboo Street, 92. Dick Pound, 83. Dick Buttkiss, 44. Dick Pole, 42. Dakota Fag, 35.
You fairy.
Plaxico Burris, 25. Shaq had 25. Kevin Pittsnoggle, 23. I need Josh's help on this. Adewale.
Come on, you can do it.
Adewale Ogunleye.
There you go.
21.
Right.
Crapfonzo Thorpe, 18. DeBrickashaw Ferguson, 17. Ron Tugnut, 17. Yang, 17. Mike Krzyzewski, 15. Bimbo Coles, 15. Apollo Oh No, 14. J.J. Putz and Yasser Arafat Sati had 10 apiece. George Shorthose had 9. Bob Greasy, 9. X-Ray Hip had 8. Mickey Klutz, 7. Miro Shatan, 7. Randall Gay had 6.
Gay.
Damian Tomlinson, 6. Cheryl Pounder, 6. And her sister, that little pint-sized quarter pounder. Tabucky Jones, 5. Lake Speed, 5. David Seaman, 3. Lance Pitlick, 3. Radek Bonk, 3. Johannes Hairbear had only 2. I don't understand that. Don't you think that's kind of an unusual name, Hairbear?
Yeah.
They don't get it. D.A. Points, 2. Ontario Smith, 2. Pappy Sow, 2. Tobias Angerer, 2. Rocco Mediate, 1. Steve Bowling, 1. Jay Baller, 1. Jeff Ball, 1. Sean Crooks, 1. Joey Cheek, 1. And none for Stefan Yell, Carl Dykhouse. That's because they're hockey players, and even though names are on the list, they have no idea how they're pronounced. So Takeo Spikes, Joey Godspeed, and Jeff Payne had the big nothing. So that was yesterday. Today we don't have much. Well, I'm saving the one about me for tomorrow. People in South Florida I think it's a very important poll. It's extraordinary, 403 votes. Rude and hostile, 221. We did this one quite a while ago, about 3 years.
Right.
And the rude and hostile won handily then, and now they're probably ruder and more hostile than ever.
That's what I voted.
Dumb as dirt, 80. That was my vote. Just like that. Like Herb in Coral Springs. I read it, and I've read it twice now, once off the air and then on the air, and I still can't get over the chutzpah that somebody would have to send me like, oh, gee, how are you going to continue? I mean, like I said before, he's been on the air for a long, long time and going on till 10:30, 10:45, 11 o'clock, the post-game show, and on and on and on, and somehow we still survive here. I don't know. Mostly okay, 85. The people in South Florida, they're like, or 65, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, not great. Comme si, comme ça. I hate this poll 29, of course. Friendly, 6, and geeks, 2. Now, George was explaining before the show, since I'm an old fart, that the word geek has
it's morphed
into a different meaning now.
Right.
As in computer geeks.
Like nerds. It means what nerds used to mean.
Well, as opposed to geek like Robert Grieper, for example.
Like carnival
I
geek.
was to think of a geek or a
Scab
Gilbert.
pickers. Gilbert, the guy with the eyes.
Like that. The guy with the eyes, the guy with the fanny bag. There's a real geek.
Yeah.
But, of course, luckily, there are so few of those in South Florida. McLeod Star dead. Now, didn't you just have an appearance somewhere?
Bass Pro, last Saturday.
And how'd that come out?
Fine, all the geeks were there.
They were all there?
Sure, the guy
with the eye showed up?
The guy with the eye showed up, but Gilbert did not, though.
All right. That's because it's your appearance. He knows you hate him like poison.
That's right. I have a Gilbert stick, just with his name on it.
Anyway, yesterday we had this just before the end of the show. They're dying in threes. Isn't that the way they always say? Is it in threes or in... Yeah,
they say threes.
Yeah, throughout Three's Company.
Whoever they are.
Darren McGavin died, and Don Knotts over the weekend, and now we got Dennis Weaver, the slow-witted deputy Chester Good in the TV classic Western Gunsmoke, and the New Mexico deputy solving New York crime in McLeod, has died at 81. Weaver died of complications from cancer Friday at his home in Ridgeway in southwestern Colorado. He was a struggling actor in Hollywood in 55, earning $60 a week delivering flowers when he was offered $300 a week for a role in new CBS TV series Gunsmoke. By the end of 9 years with Gunsmoke, he was earning $9,000 a week, $9,000 a week. When Weaver first auditioned for the series, he found the character of Chester inane. He wrote in his 2001 autobiography, All the World's a Stage, that he said to himself, with all my actor studio training, I'll correct this character by using my own experiences and drawing from myself. That's what he said. The result was a well-rounded character that appealed to audiences, especially with his drawling, Mr. Dillon. I never watched that show, really, so I don't remember.
Gunsmoke? No.
I mean, I knew it was on, and I'd seen
remember
changing
Festus.
the channel. Yeah, Festus. In fact, I would have thought Dennis Weaver was Festus. Who was Festus?
Some hick. I'll have to look it up.
Google it, man.
Doing it now.
Gunsmoke. At the end of 7 hit seasons, Weaver sought other horizons. He announced his departure, but the failures of pilots for his own series caused him to return to Gunsmoke on a limited basis for 2 more years. The role brought him an Emmy in the 58-59 season. In 66, he starred with a 600-pound black bear in Gentle Ben about a family that adopts a bear as a pet. Series was well received, but after 2 seasons...
Ken Curtis.
Who was it?
Ken Curtis.
I don't know who that is. CBS decided it needed more adult entertainment and canceled Gentle Ben.
Festus Hagen.
No. I wonder if he was related to Tom Hagen.
Maybe I can help.
You're out, Tom. Next came the character Sam McCloud, which Weaver called the most satisfying role of his career. The McCloud series, a 70 to 77 thing, juxtaposed the no-nonsense lawman from Taos, New Mexico, onto the crime-ridden streets of New York. His Wild West tactics, such as riding his horse through Manhattan traffic, drove local police crazy, but he always solved the case. He appeared in several movies, including Touch of Evil, 10 Wanted Men, Gentle Giant, or is that Gentile Giant, 7 Angry Men, Dragnet, Way, Way Out, and The Bridges of Toko-Ri. Doesn't this bio say anything about...
Duel?
Oh, my God, I'm looking through this. It didn't even mention Duel in here. He appeared in A Streetcar Named Desire opposite Shelley Winters, toured and Comeback Little Sheba with Shirley Booth. Oh, here it is, finally. It had to be. He appeared in dozens of TV movies. Oh, that's right, it was a TV movie. The most notable being the 71 Duel. It was a bravura performance for both fledgling director Steven Spielberg. Remember, I told you that the other day. I finally got something right. And Weaver, who played a driver menaced by a large truck that followed him down a mountain road. That's a great movie. His other TV series were Kentucky Jones, Tabucky Jones, Emerald Point NAS, Stone, and Buck James. There you go. Dennis Weaver. They're dying like flies, man. Because the Lord works in mysterious ways. When it's your time, the Lord reaches down, taps you on the shoulder, says, your time, come on up and sit around and near my throne. And enjoy the aroma.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Neil? God?
I shot a hunter. I mistook him for a flying bird. That is not an admission of guilt, mind you. I shot a hunter. And for 24 hours, I didn't say a word. You see, Scooter Libby handled all of my press releases, but that's a different story. I tried to keep this thing all hush-hush. Now, everyone's aware of it with the exception of President Bush. They say my hunting license wasn't up to date. And my aim isn't all that great. I was never in the Army, so as a result, I was never trained to shoot that straight. So I say, this is a catchy tune. What is this, some kind of calypso? Scooter would know. I shot a hunter. But the CIA reported at the time that he was, in fact, a quail. And if the CIA says it, it's good enough for Dick Cheney. I shot a hunter. But that in no way indicates that our intelligence has failed. I prefer to think of it this way. The man's face was liberated from the oppressive regime of his skull, and America is safer because of it. That is all. Dismissed.
Bye-bye. See you, Dick. 10:45 at WQM. Here's a fax from P.R. Ralph. You're a good friend.
My close, most personal part of it.
It's been a pleasure to hear you the past 18 years since I came down from New York City. You're a breath of fresh air, and say how it is. A breath of fresh air. And may you be on here another 30 years.
About 30,
man. And be a masculine child. And I'll always listen. Thanks for the entertainment. It's the best for the price. That's right. Even at twice the price, it's still well worth it. Thank you, P.R. Ralph. He didn't say anything about Howard or how he listens to, sneaks a listen into the Juice or anything else, you know? Yeah. Unlike my good close friend Herb, who thinks I'm going to give him a call so I can, bond, you know. Here's one from Kenny, Ken Lutz. Maybe Ken is from Lutz. Congratulations on 30 years, I guess, ? Okay. Just a quick note on the state of my 2 hockey teams. Team Canada suck, Toronto Maple Leafs suck. Both teams coached by Mr. Quinn. Coincidence? I think not. Of course, Mr. Quinn didn't pick the players for Team Canada, or quite frankly for the Leafs either, but nevertheless. Have a good day, eh? Ken from the hometown of Phil and Tony Esposito, Ron Francis, and where the Beezer lives now. I don't know where he's talking about, but if the Beezer lives there now, I sure hope there's a lot of nice white people there. The Beezer. It's a little racial problem. Anyway, David faxes and says, boy, bad penmanship, David. Holy. Did you see this one from yesterday?
What?
The fax.
What about it?
I said bad penmanship.
Oh.
I grew up in Boston listening to Larry Glick, Jerry Williams, and many others. Probably Carl DeSuze, and probably Jefferson K. and Dave Maynard, and Jay Dunn, and Arnie Woo-Woo Ginsburg. But anyway, moved here in 92 and found you right away. You've been making my day ever since. On your 30th anniversary, I just have to write and say thanks. You're the best of all of them. I hope you don't retire anytime soon. Well, thanks a lot, David. Improve your penmanship, but thank you very much. Yeah, those were the days, man. Boston radio was great. It was, a long time ago.
And then what happened?
Well, just like radio turned into a toilet.
Oh, yeah.
Radio
like
went out of style, went out of
radio
business.
used to be great down here, too.
Well, I don't remember that. 5670560, pound 560. The phone calls are just pouring in, the telegrams, the faxes of congratulations. It's like I said, when you work in South Florida, expect nothing.
Right.
And they'll never let you down. They will never, ever disappoint.
That card that I sent you yesterday, the one that I'm sure you were just reading from right now, there was a quail on the front of it. But I didn't fax you that picture.
A quail?
A quail. I don't know if that meant anything, but there's a quail. Yeah.
It's probably supposed to be cutesy. Here's Cliff, who says, I've listened to Howard, I like him, but I would rather listen to you for the number one, the callers and your reaction, and number two, you attack religion and government, and number three, the South Florida connection you have. So thanks for making that U-turn. Well, I don't know what that means. I was born around the time you came out of the closet. Keep it up, cracker. 3 years, Cliff says. Do you understand any of this? It's like incoherent. 3 years what?
Well,
You've been listening 3 years?
Cliff's a Jamaican, isn't he?
Oh, Cliff is a Jamaican. Oh, it sure ain't Cliff the Pool Man. I know that.
Oh, I thought it was.
You thought this is Cliff the Pool Man? Get out of here.
I only know one Cliff.
Oh, this ain't Cliff. Okay, thanks, Cliff. And he said he'd rather listen. Look, I'm not one of those people that worries about what other people are listening to. If you like Howard, if you like Sandy Payton, whatever you like, listen to old Bill Smith tapes. I don't care what. Have a good time. I don't worry about such nonsense. I never have. That's why I've never been paranoid about talking about other radio stations or other people on here. Who cares? Who gives a crap? As long as I get paid twice a month, close to on time, that's all I care about. And that's the freaking truth. By the way, a week from Friday is payday, Clarence. And, Clarence, see you next time. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Just wanted to call and let you know I've been listening to you on many different stations over the course of many years, and I appreciate all the laughs and the thought-provoking conversations. And just one shameless request, if you would, is that Mickey and Eisner skit. It just makes me wet my pants. It really does.
Well, get June Allison on the line. I'll get it whipped up for you.
All righty.
Thanks, Pally.
Thanks.
See, he didn't say anything about he likes to listen to old tapes of Craig Worthing or whatever. You know, to each his own. Or the old Davy Gravy Line tapes at your service from KAT. Those would be special. Or the old Shirley Spellerberg, Irv Schindler show. See, I'd rather watch Irv Schindler on TV than Schindler's List. I know I'm not going to watch it.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I have. Anybody want a copy of Schindler's List? I got it in the other room.
It's a keeper, actually.
Oh, you want it?
Sure. I'll watch it
send
again.
It to you one of these days.
It's very good.
In the right mood. 5670560, pound 560 on the Verizon and Singular Wireless line. I'm sure I left some other adjectives out here for South Floridians. People in South Florida are. I've only got like 6 choices on there. It's not to, and one of them is I hate this poll. So I'm sure there are probably other ones. I'm probably just too cynical. That's all. I was there too long, and I tell people that I was there too long, and I grew to hate it like poison.
Mm-hmm.
I think people feel that way about a lot of places, like New York or wherever.
Or South Florida.
Well, that's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. Just, reiterate.
Or Detroit or South Florida again. Yeah. There it comes. WQAM, hello. QAM. Line 1, it's actually working, and they couldn't get it out. WQAM, hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, 30 years. I know tomorrow's going to be too hectic to get in, so I wanted to give you an early congratulations.
About 30, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really
My
hectic.
father, actually, check this out. My father used to listen to your dating show, and then I started listening to you on the Zeta Days, the beginning of the Zeta Days, which you were. You had me at the captive audience back then. So congratulations, Neil. Thanks a lot, and take care, buddy.
Thanks, Pally.
All right.
How you like that? No complaints? Maybe there'll be some of them on their best behavior these next 2 days. Now, a lot of them don't mean it, but that's okay.
No, that was good.
Actually, seriously, it's not that I'm ungrateful to the people who supported the show all these years, because otherwise they'd have been long gone.
Right.
It's the silent crowd, the non-callers, the passive people. A little bit too passive, if you ask me, but nevertheless, they've been very supportive, and that's great, and I appreciate it, as somebody I know would say. Appreciate it. Blabo used to say that. No, he didn't say that. Who was it said that? I appreciate it.
I don't know.
Somebody said it. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Hey, I'd like to speak to Neil.
Speaking.
Neil, congratulations or condolences, whichever.
Both.
I finally figured it out, how you do all of our venting, and you make our life a little easier. After all these years, you vent for us.
Yeah, that's why I have high blood pressure, because I have to, get all whipped up on the benefit of all the passive people down there.
Well, all of the jillions of your listeners, we do really appreciate you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pally.
You're welcome.
See ya. Put that tongue away. Man, Oh. That was emotional. I shed a tear. Not really.
Now, I want to hear from somebody who was conceived as a result of that dating show you used to do.
No. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, when would that have been? That would have been like around 80-ish, I would say. Early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, early 80s, maybe 82, 83. So, yeah, that's possible.
Right.
Or somebody like 24, 25.
Right?
They could have been conceived. You might be here now because I did that dating and mating show on WNWS.
They would owe you their life.
Oh, my God, was that show ponderous. And then we made the mistake. I don't know if you even... I've told you about it. The picnics that we had. And believe me, there were no picnic. So people would actually come and, meet and greet and lay eyes on the other beautiful people. And then you'll never get... in fact, that was when Bobby Hyman, and then there were some other... See, I really pissed a lot of people off with that thing. Because there were these dating services where they, would make money from it. It was a business. And I cut into their business because people didn't have to spend any money on this. It was just a free service on the show. And people could call in and give out their phone number, which nowadays I don't think they would do. But nobody got killed that I know of. But so the regular commercial dating services got really PO'd. So what they would do is every time we'd have a dating picnic...
Yeah.
Is they would infiltrate with some of their own people. And I don't remember... Huh?
Brilliant, yeah.
No, and guess who they schlepped to a couple of times they would bring him out?
Gilbert.
No, close. My.
Oh, my.
Blind Mike, they would schlep him out there. Just use him as kind of like a weapon. Like, if you don't stop doing a dating show, we're going to, bring him to your house. We're like,
You could have had a lot of fun hooking him up with all kinds of things.
Yeah. Bossy, the Borden
That's
cow.
right. Hey, here's a beautiful woman we're sitting next to you right now.
Right.
And it's Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it would have been a good match. But at any rate, the dating show picnic, I think that was the beginning of the end of the whole thing. I dropped the idea. I don't remember how long I did that. Probably too long. And then, of course, we had gay dating on there, too, and that was really well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 5670560, pound 560 in the Verizon Singular Wireless lines. Let's do a dating show.
Oh.
There we go. Next time one of your salespeople gets a brilliant idea about trying to whore the show, let's get one of the dating services to come in, and we'll have a dating show. That would be good for you.
For me and Josh, yeah.
Yeah, get a little on the side there. Josh, I'm sure, is getting a little tired of that Russian piece.
We'll get a side dish.
Right.
I'm always open for new things.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's what Duff said. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Welcome. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to say thanks for all the entertainment. And that's it.
Okay, thanks, Pally.
All right, buddy.
See ya. Yeah, short and sweet. I mean, just make the effort. You don't have to have anything really creative. We can kill today and tomorrow with this crap. Thanks for the memories. Of course, Bob Hope is dead. I don't want to be singing that song. Although I will say this much. I don't want to, pat myself on the back too much. But just spontaneously, I can be funnier in 2 minutes than Bob Hope ever was in his life.
Please.
Look at the money he made.
You could make fun of your faces and be funnier.
Not as funny as Rich Little, but nevertheless.
Oh, jeez. Why'd you bring him up?
Oh, man. It's not talent that counts, it's timing. It's like going to the casino. It's just blind luck timing, sitting down at the right spot at the right machine at the right time, man. You got to be at the right machine. Playing the other day, a couple of machines down, and this guy is just plunging his guy, and he keeps getting spin after spin, 25 and 30 and 40 and 20, and he looks like he's ready to bust. A big, humongous fat guy. Made me look like Minnie Mouse. I mean, just a huge guy, 400 pounds easy. How he didn't break that chair, I have no idea. He was a nice enough guy, though. And finally, boom, 3,000 on the line. And he turns to me and he said, this was great. He says, I could feel it coming. I knew it. And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to, pee on his parade. I was happy for him, but I would have rather had it myself. But he knew it was coming. I wanted to say, oh, yeah? How'd you know that? Let me know how that works. He could feel, look at they're killing a bunch of them birds there, them chickens, man. I think maybe we can get our big party catered by Killer Flu Chicken tomorrow.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Eisner?
Mr. Mouse?
What the hell are you doing to me?
What do you mean, sir?
Why am I reading in the paper you're going to put a Disney theme park in Brooklyn?
Well, sir, we're just scouting locations.
Jesus, I'm scouting CEOs. You are killing me.
But sir, look what we've done with New York City, Times Square, 42nd Street.
Hang on. Wait a minute. Remus. Get that bluebird out of here.
Okay, boss.
Hi, sir.
But, sir, look what we've done with Midtown Manhattan. 42nd Street is incredible.
Oh, you know what? Publicly, I supported that, but you took all the porn away. You're killing me. I'm going through Gaviscon like Pez.
We're just scouting areas. Calm down.
Listen to me, Butt Munch. Don't tell me to calm down. We got lucky with Lilo and Stitch, $128 million. Now, you're trying to ruin the whole network. What kind of programming are you running? Hang on a minute. Remus!
Yeah,
you got bluebird crap all over your shoulder. Clean yourself up, for heaven's sake. And turn off the vacuum cleaner.
Okay, boss.
Good God.
Sir, the network is fine.
Why couldn't you come up with American Idol? Good God, you're still running James Bond movies. They're 60 years old. Why don't you just put Steamboat Willie on and be done with it? At least then I'd make a couple of damn dollars.
Well, the movie division's fine. You mentioned Lilo and Stitch, and now we have the new M. Night Shyamalan movie coming out later this summer.
I know, signs. What the hell does that mean? Stop sign, yield sign? You gotta start swinging some of these titles past me.
Please.
Remus. Remus.
Can't hear you, boss.
I know you can't hear me, Remus. You're still running the vacuum cleaner.
Yes, I'm right, boss. I'm running the vacuum.
Get out of here, Remus, and take that bluebird with you.
All right.
Hi, sir.
Yes, sir?
I'd be very careful the next time I started my car if I were you.
What do you mean,
I'm
sir?
about done with you.
What?
About done.
What, sir?
I'll put Hannah Storm in your job.
But, sir, I'm sorry.
You're terrible.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I'll put Remus in there. How'd you like to be president of Disney, Remus?
Oh, my.
What a wonderful day. Get out of here, you nutbag.
Oh, speaking of being very careful next time you start at your Jag, rhymes with fag, Clarence. 11:02 at 560 WQAM. A CBS News poll finds President Bush's approval rating has fallen to an all-time low of 34%, while pessimism about the Iraq War has risen to a new high. Americans are also overwhelmingly opposed to the Bush-backed deal giving Dubai-owned company operation control over the 6 major U.S. ports, including Miami. 7 in 10 Americans, including 58% of Republicans, say they're opposed to the agreement. Sounds like 70% to me, 7 in 10.
Yeah.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Jim Axelrod now reports it turns out the Coast Guard had concerns about the ports deal. We got that story later on. I'll do it now. Also, Cheney's approval rating is down to 18%. down from 23% in January. Only 18% of the public say they have a favorable view of your vice president. Americans were evenly split on whether or not Cheney's explanation why there was a delay in reporting the accident was satisfactory, or whether the booze was as good as they claimed it was. Oh, and speaking of Dick, Vice President Cheney, this is according to Insight, which is a right-wing magazine, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're not. Vice President Dick Cheney is expected to retire within a year. Senior GOP sources envisioned retirement of Mr. Cheney in 2007, months after the congressional elections. The sources say Mr. Cheney would be persuaded to step down as he becomes an increasing political liability to President Bush. The sources reported a growing rift between the president and the vice president, as well as their staffs. They said that Mr. Cheney's failure to immediately tell the president of the accidental shooting of the hunting colleague earlier this month. White House didn't learn of the incident until 18 hours later. Mr. Cheney's next crisis could take place by the end of the year, the sources said. They say the White House was expecting Cheney to defend himself against charges from his former chief of staff, Louis Scooter Libby, that the vice president ordered him to relay classified information. Such a charge could lead to a congressional investigation, even impeachment proceedings. Nothing will happen until after the congressional elections, the GOP source said, and after that, there will be significant changes in the administration, and Cheney probably will be part of that. How do you like that? Already, senators expect special counsel Patrick Fitzgerald to investigate whether Mr. Cheney authorized Mr. Libby to divulge classified material. And on it goes. Wouldn't that be something?
It'd be something.
See,
Not
people
much.
were saying they didn't want Bush to get impeached because then Cheney would be president, but then again, that would be nothing different than what it is now. But in this case, yeah, if Cheney resigned, it would really be bad because then Bush would become president.
Oh, that's cute.
Not cute, but true.
Yes.
And very dangerous. 5670560. Don't talk about crooks. There you go. There's Silvio Berlusconi from Italy, man. A real crook. The world's biggest, perhaps. And there's Bush sitting right next to him with that dumb, stupid look on his face like, when do we eat the raviolis? You know? Look at that. Berlusconi and Bush, the Beebe brothers. Doesn't B&B make canned mushrooms, I think? Oh, boy, those are good. In fact,
Ooh,
the
right.
boiled in butter.
Boiled in butter, yeah.
Yeah, they got like butter in the can. You ever have butter in the can?
Sure, just this
Doug
morning.
told me something about that. People in South Florida we have 496 votes. I bet you if I refresh it, we got like 500. Not that it makes any difference. 497. Rude and hostile, 272. Dumb as dirt, 97. Mostly okay, 86. I hate this poll, 34. Friendly, 6. I haven't met them yet. And geeks, 2 out of 497. Just amazing. Well, and people would say, well, that's because it's your crowd, Neil. They're just doing that to suck up to you. Sure they are.
Right, yeah.
Even our friend Carolyn, remember the attorney Carolyn? Regular faxes. Faxed in yesterday saying she's moving to Pittsburgh. I got news for her, man. It's got to be pretty bad when you move to Pittsburgh. Ooh. That should tell you all you need to know. Oh, Josh's favorite line 9 is ringing. QAM, hello.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I sent George an email last night. I don't know if he forwarded it on to you about, have you ever seen a documentary called 9/11 Loose Change?
No.
One of the best I have ever seen. This thing exposes all the BS.
Yeah.
It's a great documentary. I sent the link to George. He can forward it on to you.
Okay.
And had a question for you. The About 30 Man that you're always playing.
About 30 Man.
Yeah.
That guy. What is that from?
Oh, jeez.
Was that a caller, or was that from a
No, that's
movie or
from
something?
I'll play the bit after the next break. We'll play the bit. It's Puff Daddy and Regis. You never heard that bit?
It's going to be on the anniversary CD.
I'll
for those
play
of
in a
you.
minute. Just don't get surly with this guy, George.
I'm not. I'm
Jesus.
just telling him.
You know, the way you said it, surly. Like impatient. See what a bastard this guy's turning into? It's all because of Clarence. It's all because he's starting to suck around with Clarence lately. I'd stay away from him if I were you.
Yeah, for the poll,
Yeah.
South Floridians are the best.
Okay, that's going to get a lot of votes. Thanks, Pally.
Later.
See ya. It's on the disc that's coming out. Just be patient. You'll get it.
I was just saying, because everybody asks about it.
Hostile.
And there you go. There's a reason to buy it.
Wow, I can understand why, though, because you're there.
Yeah, and it sucks.
Lots of issues. It really does suck. The best. South Floridians are the best. That ought to be a real hoot. And, of course, you can vote for yourself. Like, I am the best. I am the greatest. It'll make you feel pretty good, even if you're a bastard. Let's see. Here's a dentist who sends me a fax. He says, Dean, I want to congratulate you on your 30th
About 30, man.
anniversary. My name is Marvin. He's got his last name. I don't use people's last names on here. I've met you a few times. I remember my son, Sean. Ooh. Who unfortunately has been extremely ill the past few years. Severe ulcerative colitis, leading to removal of his colon and many, many hospital stays and operations with the goal of attempting to make a new colon out of his small intestine. Jesus. He's an editor at the Marco Island Eagle, and he's got his email here. I've listened to you for 27 years. There are a few people who have admired and respected as much as you. You've entertained and informed for 30 years. My entire family's appreciated you and your talent for all these past years. Stay well, very healthy, and again, congratulate. Blah, blah, blah. Very truly yours, Marvin. He's got his last name. Well, give my best to Sean, Marvin. That's grotesque news. Man. Just like that fax I had the other day about Fern Friedman just died. Not just, a couple of years ago. It was like hearing that Bill Calder's wife died several years ago. What is this all about, you know? That's what my mother always used to say. What's it all about, Alfie? What is it all about?
I don't know. It's about getting paid and then dying, I guess.
That's it. Getting paid and on time and then dying. Jonathan Plantation says, congratulations on 30 years in the business. Don't go into business, all you punks over there at Piper High and all you other at VUM. Well, they're not in the business. Just forget about this business. It blows. It sucks. It's a killer. Especially when you got a guy that's been listening since 87 that sends you a fax, goes out of his way to send you this long emotional fax and tells you he listens to Howard every day and the post-game show and the pre-game show and then the West Coast feed and the Cockamoon feed and the Out of This World feed. Man. And thank you so much for making my morning and afternoon a heck of a lot more pleasant. Every little bit helps when you live in a toilet, says Guy. That's right, you're living in a turlet. I can almost hear I'm feeling flushed just thinking about it. And above all, thanks to opening my eyes to the hypocritical religious bastards and corrupt political landscape in this country, helping me to give a damn. Here's to another 30 years, said Jonathan in Plantation.
About 30, man.
Thanks, Jonathan. 509 votes on the poll. The best so far has got... No, it just went on there. Give them some time. People in South Florida really are the best, aren't they? Come on,
Oh,
let's
yeah, the
suck up
best
real
something.
heavy duty. You folks are the best. God, you are like responsive and you're like dynamic and you're like activist and you like really care about the things that count a lot, like the Dolphins and stuff like that. Important stuff, like sports talk, for example. And then they're still hawking Mardi Gras on CNN. This is 24/7 coverage, man. Mardi Gras. This is the new diversion. It's the new security blanket that they're hiding under. All this other corruption and crap going on, and they're hawking Mardi Gras. I mean, not that I begrudge New Orleans, but what the hell is this going to do to put these people's lives back together again? So it brings a lot of money into the people who are in business there, and what are they going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe send Scott Miles O'Brien where he belongs in outer space on the space shuttle. What a jackass. And they all got their outfits on and they whole deal and they're celebrating. They're having that's America for you, man. Having a big party. All those people that are dead. Are they rebuilding the Levies? No, not the Levies. How about the George Morton Levy? You ever see that? As Stan Bergstein once said, you don't have to be Jewish to enjoy the Levy. That was right at Purim time, too. That's when he and Spencer Ross were eating Hamantash on Racing from Roosevelt. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir.
You know what? New Orleans is the worst place. It's almost as Bush League is here. Could be the two worst towns in the whole U.S.
And it's a lot filthier than there, I'll tell you that. At least South Florida's got the palm trees in the ocean. New Orleans is a toilet.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right about the comedy thing. It is just so bad. It's all laughing at the characters. There's no real comedy. Like, Bob Hope is just, he's the worst.
Yeah.
Guy's terrible.
I never heard him say anything funny in my life anyway. Maybe before I was born.
Just crap. And anyway, Neil, thank you so much. You're irreplaceable.
Okay, thanks, Pally.
And in closing, hey, Joyce, Tijuana wants their donkey back.
Okay. Oh. Did like that movie Losing It, though.
Right.
I think that's because John Stockwell was in it.
Probably.
And speaking of, what was I just had something so important I was going to pass along, and it's probably just as well I forgot it.
Was it about Tom Cruise?
No, it was not about Tom Cruise. It was much more important than that. It was really in very poor taste. 12 minutes past, so I'll work on remembering it during the break. 12 minutes past the hour. We got Bo Camper coming up at 2. Why do I call him by his last name? Because this Bo thing.
That's a sports thing there. You're just getting into it, yeah. The locker room
Bo
mentality.
Camper at 2, Mandich at 4. And then the Panthers stuff, followed by Eddie K after the hockey game.
That's Kaplan.
Panthers against the Lightning, baby. And Ole Jokinen, he's going bye-bye. And Roberto Luongo, bye-bye. And Alan Cohen, man. Stick to the horses, Alan.
This
Especially
is
the party you know the
Neil
best.
This is 560 QAM.
Comes the sequel to a film about forbidden love that's even more forbiddener. Brokeback Mountain 2, Return to the Sheep.
Life is so much simpler up here. I don't need Jack. I don't need my wife. I don't need... Hello there, Wooly. Ain't you a pretty little thing?
There are secrets we cannot hide. There are species we haven't tried.
It could be like this, just like this, always.
Brokeback Mountain 2, Return to the Sheep.
I wish I could quit you, lamb chop.
11:16. What was your name, Sherry? Lewis. Very good, lamb chop. Anyway, I just remembered what I was going to say. The guy was talking about people trying to be funny who aren't, like Bob Hope.
Right.
Well, guess who I saw? I'll give you a clue on what show last night.
You owe me $50.
And I hesitate to say it because it's not politically correct, especially to the crowd under the age of 100. No, Jon Stewart was on last night.
For the hour with Larry, for the hour.
Oh, God.
What?
Nothing, Larry.
No, I'm not talking about Larry. I'm talking about Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
He was not funny.
I don't imagine that he would be on Larry. The show is very funny. The Daily Show.
I mean, well, they showed some clips. Actually, they showed more clips from Letterman than they did from his show, which I thought was kind of bizarre. But it was just, and he tried so hard to be funny. And of course, Larry is about as funny as a giant tumor on your back. And it was just horrible.
Well,
I sat there and I watched about 35 minutes, and I said to myself, "Why are you doing this?"
Trust me, the Daily Show is funny.
I know that. I see the clips, but he by himself is not.
Yeah. I didn't used to like it. I had the same opinion of him a long time ago.
He tries to force it.
Right.
But anyway, like I said, I probably should have forgotten it. Maybe I forgot it for a good reason. Don't say that. Don't be knocking Jon Stewart in the Daily Show. All your listeners under the age of 100 watch that.
He's the only person on TV saying it like it is.
Yeah. And don't forget Lou Dobbs.
Oh, well, recently.
Who got religion all of a sudden.
All of a
with
sudden,
his big fat face.
yeah.
He got struck by the bolt of lightning or something, man. Lou Dobbs from the entire hour was ripping Bush an ass now, night after night on the Certainly Nazi Network, man. They must be foaming at the mouth. I bet you Dana Bash and Wolf Blitzkrieg are planning his assassination as we speak, Lou Dobbs. Wouldn't you think?
Sure.
Or at least pee in his coffee, although that guy in Ohio probably would enjoy that. Dana Bash my ass. And guess what they're still doing there on CNN? I wonder if MSNBC is up to their earlobes in this New Orleans crap. I mean, this is just outrageous. Yes, look at that. Louisiana's recovery, Mardi Gras.
The state and the challenges ahead is Louisiana Senator Mary Landry.
Bada beep, bada boop, bada bop. Don't she look nice? Huh? She's okay. She looks a little butch to me, to be honest with you. You ever notice that about her?
No.
She looks very butch. Coast Guard had concerns on port deal, citing broad gaps in U.S. intelligence. I think that's becoming an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah.
U.S. intelligence?
Has been.
The Coast Guard cautioned the Bush administration weeks ago that it could not determine whether a United Arab Emirates-based company seeking a stake in some U.S. port operations might support terrorist operations. The disclosure came during a hearing Monday on Dubai-owned DP World's plans to take over significant operations at 6 leading U.S. ports. The Bush administration said the Coast Guard's concerns were raised during its review of the deal, which it approved January 17, and that all those questions were resolved. There are many intelligence gaps concerning the potential for DPW or P&O assets to support terrorist operations that precludes an overall threat assessment of the potential merger, the unclassified Coast Guard intelligence assessment said. The breadth of the intelligence gaps also infer potential unknown threats against a large number of potential vulnerabilities, the assessment said. The Coast Guard said the concerns reflected in the document ultimately were addressed. In a statement, the Coast Guard said other U.S. intelligence agencies were able to provide answers to the questions it raised. And the parent of that Dubai-based firm at the center of the political storm in the U.S. over purchase of American ports participates in the Arab boycott against Israel, the Jerusalem Post reports. The firm, Dubai Ports World, DPW, is seeking control over 6 major U.S. ports, including those we know that. It's entirely owned by the government of Dubai via a holding company called the PCZC, Ports Customs and Free Zone Corporation, which consists of the Dubai Port Authority, the Dubai Customs Department, and the Jebel Ali Free Zone Area. I wonder if that's the related Jezebel by Frankie Lane on Columbia Records. Jezebel, remember that?
No, what year?
How about Mule Train? Remember Mule Train by Frankie Lane?
No, what year?
1802. Yes, of course the boycott is still in place and is still enforced. Mohammed Rashid Adin, a staff member of the Dubai Customs Department's Office for the Boycott of Israel, told the Post in a telephone interview. If a product contained even some components that were made in Israel, you wanted to import it to Dubai, it would be a problem, he said. Adin noted that while the head office for the anti-Israel boycott sits in Damascus, he and his fellow staff members are paid employees of the Dubai Customs Department, which is a division of PCZC, the same Dubai government-owned entity that runs Dubai Ports World. Moreover, the Post found that the website for Dubai's Jebel Ali Free Zone Area, which is also part of the PCZC, advises importers they'll need to comply with the terms of the boycott. U.S. law, by the way, I just mentioned this in passing, Father Paranoia. U.S. law bars firms from complying with such requests or cooperating with attempts by Arab governments to boycott Israel. Adin says that his office examines certificates of origin as a means of verifying whether a product originated in the Jewish state. So in other words, anything that might have been shipped out of Israel, even like if a ball bearing was made there, even if like a tiny piece of matzah was in there, they ain't going to ship it. They're going to Schmidt can it, no doubt. How do you like that? Those Iranians, man, and those Hamas bastards, they don't recognize our friend Israel. They're evildoers. They're part of the axis of evil. But now the UAE people, which is up to their earlobes in bed and business with Neil Bush and Papa Bush and W. Bush and every damn other Bush, well, that's a different story. We don't want to piss off the Arab street. Must be a lot of people PO'd on the Arab street because grisly attacks and other sectarian violence unleashed by last week's bombing of that Shiite Muslim shrine have killed more than 1,300 Iraqis, making the past few... And don't forget your vice president, Shoot 'em Up Dick, is the one that told us months and months and months ago now that the insurgency was waning. He stuck his head out the window, or at least his finger anyway, I can't say which one. He stuck his finger out the window, he discovered it was waning. The past few days now are the deadliest of the war outside of major U.S. offensives according to Baghdad's main morgue. The toll was more than 3 times higher than the figure previously reported by the U.S. military and the news media. More than 1,300. That's since Wednesday, by the way. Hundreds of unclaimed dead bodies lay at the morgue at midday yesterday. Blood-caked men who had been shot, knifed, garroted, or apparently suffocated by plastic bags stuck over their heads. Many of the bodies were sprawled with their hands still bound, and many of them had wound up at the morgue after what their families said was their abduction by the Mahdi army, the Shiite militia of cleric Muqtada al-Sadr. All right. They're doing it, baby. Things are fantastic over there.
Oh, we're fine.
There's another one who died on us, Dan Stewart. For what is going on here, man? What the hell is going on? You know, there's supposed to be like an orderly progression of things.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If we had a God, if there was really such a thing as a God, a loving God, instead of this wrathful, hateful God, it like is always, his wrath is waxing hot. He reminds me of the water Nazi. Maybe he can resign too, okay? I think this God ought to like step down. He's not doing too good. Let's get another God in there to run things.
Neil, God!
There you go. It's got to be an improvement. I wouldn't be seeing all these people dying from all these diseases and inventing all these damn creatures, these damn little things that bite and kill, and spiders and snakes and crap. Remember that song, Spiders and Snakes, by Jim Stafford. Very, very good. Boy, you're sure atoning for your sins, recent sins. And boy, there's a multitude of them. That's what Josh Cordes told me. And Josh Darrow, and he ain't joshing. By the way, Clarence, don't ever call here again. I will hang up on him if he ever calls here again. Even if he just calls to say happy anniversary, I would click. I don't want to talk to him. There it is. Spiders and Snakes, Jim Stafford.
Right. Remember his variety show?
Yeah, it was on for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. It was a cute 5 minutes. That's enough.
Oh, okay. I wonder if he's kin to Art Stafford Jr. U.S. troops in Iraq. Here's in the Zogby poll. This is going to, you think the poll on Bush and Cheney was exciting. 34% for your president, by the way. A popularity rating that is staggering. 34% and 18% for the real president. Shoot him up, Dick. Lemoyne College Zogby poll shows just 1 in 5 troops wants to heed Bush's call and stay as long as they're needed in Iraq. 58% say the mission is clear. 42% say the U.S. role is hazy. Remember those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer?
Uh-huh.
Nat King Cole? I bet you don't have that. No, got it, do you? Oh, no. I can't believe it.
You owe me $1.
Capitol Records, man. I'll send $1 when I send you that movie.
All right.
Schindler's List.
I really wish you would watch it. You're such an anti-Semite.
I tried it. It's
Listen.
got nothing to do with anti-Semite. It's like eating chicken. When you're Jewish, you've been fed chicken all your life. You don't want more chicken. And now's a good time to stop eating chicken, by the way.
That's right. Forget about the fact that of the scenario. It's about a
flu
very
chicken.
heroic man that has a great story, and it's
I'll
told
take your
very
word for it.
well, and he deserves to have attention paid to him because we don't have anybody like that in the world right now.
Oh, I see. Not even Howard Dean?
Nobody. No. What Schindler did was go against the grain, even though he lost everything and could have gotten himself killed for doing what he was doing. Instead of being an opportunist.
Now, is this before or after he started conducting those trips to China?
Around the same time.
Irv Schindler. Plurality of our troops believe that Iraqi insurgents are mostly homegrown. Almost 90% think the war is retaliation for Saddam's role in 9/11, which, of course, there wasn't any. Most don't blame Iraqi public for insurgent attacks. A majority of troops oppose use of harsh prisoner interrogation, and plurality of troops pleased with their armor and equipment. A plurality, but not a majority. An overwhelming majority, 72% of American troops serving in Iraq, think U.S. should exit the country within the next year. Nearly 1 in 4 say the troops should leave immediately. The new poll, conducted in conjunction with Lemoyne College's Center for Peace and Global Studies, showed that 29% of the respondents serving in various branches of the armed forces, including the National Guard, 29% said the U.S. should leave Iraq immediately, while another 22% said they should leave in the next 6 months. Another 21% said troops should be out between 6 and 12 months, while 23% said they should stay as long as they're needed. How do you like that? 72% say out this year, please.
Jason, you're on QM.
We don't have any National Guardsmen because they're all fighting a war in Iraq right now.
Not the National Guard.
Pardon?
Not the National Guard.
No National Guard in Iraq?
Not. There's no National Guard. No.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Come on.
Absolutely.
Dick was hunting for quail, drinking Jenny cream ale with his pals in Corpus Christi. But when Dick cocked his gun, half blinded by the sun, he shot his buddy Harry. Now he's got a heartache because of his mistake. Says it was the worst day of his life. And I bet if Dick could choose again, he'd wish he shot Quentin's wife. Well, Shady's sick of Dems and zealots. It was only 300 lead pellets that filled his friend and almost felled his end. When Dick's got a gun, you should hide behind trees, or your chest will look like imported Swiss cheese, and it's blood you'll be. Thanks to Dick Cheney.
See, one thing about people like Jon Stewart, the way that the media, the mass media operates, they're always going to come off looking bad unless they're in their own venue, you know?
In their own, right, you're right.
I'm just telling you, because
No, I know.
when Jon Stewart went on CNN that time, they invited him on there, and he ripped them an ass and said the show sucked, and it went off the air shortly thereafter, and he was right.
With Tucker Carlson.
But he
Calling
came
him a
off
hack.
just like a bozo. It's like the last time Gore Vidal was on interviewed on some show. It was on CNN. I think it was on Crossfire. And they made him look like a doddering old fool, which he most certainly is not. And he was telling it exactly like it is, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want people like Jon Stewart on the air. They don't want the public being treated to the truth once in a while. So stick to your own thing, John. And, of course, he's going to be doing the Oscars this weekend, Sunday. And Larry asked him only about 75 times,
What, you nervous about it? What do you think? How do you feel?
oh, Larry, please. Please, Larry. Go eat some Hamantaschen. It's that time of the year. Dressed in all black, former stripper-turned-weight loss promoter Anna Nicole Smith fought her way through a throng of photographers and autograph seekers today. See, this is the important stuff.
That's right.
On her way to a Supreme Court showdown in her bid to inherit her late husband's fortune. Smith didn't say a word, didn't sign any autographs as she and a lawyer tried to slip into a side door of the court. They tried to come in the side way. They wouldn't let her come in the back way. With millions of dollars on the line, legal issues stemming from a nasty family feud over the fortune of Smith's late husband, J. Howard Marshall II, turns on whether the state or federal courts have jurisdiction in the matter. CBS News correspondent Wyatt Andrews says Smith lost her battle in court in Texas, while a federal court said she's owed $88 million. But the question is, does the federal court have the right to order the money paid out from the estate when a state court has already said no? Smith, the spokeswoman for the diet product company. Oh, and speaking of that, I don't want to talk about her anymore. Of course, her talking about dieting. Oh, my God.
Right.
That Jenny Craig thing. Those people. No, seriously.
I know what you're talking about.
She has become. Kirstie Alley has become so. She's not even human. I don't know what the hell she is. Well, of course, she's a Scientologist.
A caricature of herself.
Maybe she's one of the people who landed on those spaceships when the Scientologists came in.
That could be. She's a pod person.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And, of course, always. And there's fettuccine. When she's shoveling it down. If you call it fettuccine. And she's shoveling the fettuccine down her fat puss. And at every spot ends with her. And, of course, it's not her anyway. Like, they got a stunt person doing stuff. And she's shimmying. She's like shimmying. Which I have no idea what that is. It's supposed to be sexy or whatever. She's about as sexy as a watermelon, Good God. She is grotesque, nauseating. But nevertheless, it's their money,
Right.
Call Jenny. She's shoveling the fettuccine.
Pounds of it.
Cookie dough.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorites. All of whom I did talk. I ate 6 ice cream sandwiches yesterday. They were the small ones, though, but even if they wouldn't have been the small ones, if they would have just had the bigger ones, I could have probably had 4 or 5 of those. Thanks a lot, Clarence. See, this man is trying to kill me. He pretends he doesn't get it. He gets it, but he pretends he doesn't get it because he knows that if anybody will listen to me, he'll be back at the sports desk writing stories about UM basketball, as opposed to pretending to be a program director. A major market radio station needs a real program director. Even the Humper said that this morning, and the Humper was like his, mentor.
His
and
dementor?
It's never too late to admit your mistakes. What?
His dementor?
Well, I'm his tormentor, and that's why he's trying to kill me with these psychotic, neurotic calls and, get me to go out and eat ice cream sandwiches by the dozen. Those are awfully good, though, by the way.
Yeah, no, I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Didn't used to.
I'll tell you what I used to really like a lot, but you have to, nuke them a little bit. I haven't had one in years, is the Carvel Flying Saucers.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of out of this world. Yeah, you never had those?
Yeah, I have.
The chocolate ones.
It's been a long time.
They're much too. They're always frozen because they don't move them that fast, so they sit in there for and then they get freezer burn.
Yeah, they're no cookie puss.
If there's anything that's really bad is freezer burn on ice cream. Anything, but especially ice cream. Oh, have you ever done that? Gone into a store?
Yeah.
And you're really dying for ice cream, like me every 5 minutes. And you go and you buy like a pint or a quart or a half gallon, whatever the hell it is, and you bring it home and you open it and you realize that the freezer compartment in the store, the electric obviously was off, and so everything that was in there thawed and then refroze.
Refroze, yeah.
No, and
void.
And you take off the lid and you see all this mung. I still eat it though.
Do you?
You think I'm going to have that much willpower to wait and go back to the store and get a different container?
Yeah, you take it back.
No.
For your money back.
No. People in South Florida are 583 votes. I'm surprised we haven't had more choices for this. Of course, I'm not taking any calls. There's that bald-headed torturer, John Negroponte, the butcher of Latin America. But anyway. Rude and hostile, 312. Dumb as dirt, 115. Mostly okay, 104. By the way, is anybody going to send me the Herald thing from the newspaper, or am I just going to have to...
Oh, like an actual copy?
Physical copy of it?
Do we still have one in there in that room there, Josh? That's the one. We'll stick it in an envelope for you.
Stick it. They're dumb as dirt, 115, that's for sure. Mostly okay, 107. Cum si cum sa, neither fish nor fowl, although a little more foul. I hate this poll, 41. Friendly, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, the best, 2, and geeks, 2. 2 friendly geeks. They showed up at George's appearance, matter of fact. Guy with the eyes?
No, there were more than 2.
The guy with a fanny bag. Well, who are the other geeks that showed up?
Oh, none by name.
That guy Jack with the hands that...
No. Just generic geeks, not famous ones.
Oh. I'm sorry that I stopped doing those appearances, man.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Especially the one guy that always wore the T-shirt that had a puppet sticking out all the time. Oh,
right.
They used to come to the hockey games. Wow. I guess he didn't have any mirrors in his house.
I can't wait for the day when I can afford to stop.
People are worried about my wardrobe, man. Take a look in the mirror yourself, some of you people, or you walk outside the house in public like that. Good God. 5670560. Today ends 30 years. See, tomorrow, I guess, is the anniversary. But somebody pointed out, I guess it was Kevin Baxter. Thanks again for the nice article, Kevin. It was pretty damn good. It was fine. It was all positive. It was a nice suck-up job, right?
Right.
Not a hatchet job like you'd expect it, Harold. Thanks to the photographer leader, it took 400 pictures, and they used one, but she was very nice. And she actually seemed to know who I was, which, I don't know if that was good or bad.
That's a first.
No, that was very good. 20 till noon, we got Kim Bocamper to talk about the important stuff. We got, and then we got, oh man, Thursday. You think it's exciting that we got the Panthers starting up again tonight. We got Marlins Exhibitionist Baseball Thursday in honor of that new stadium that they're going to be building down there in Homestead. You'd go on down there, wouldn't you? And, of course, Josh probably, see, you got out of that thing just in time.
That's what everyone keeps telling me.
Because, first of all, they're going to have like a little league team. That's number one. And number two, who the hell wants to schlep to Homestead?
I used to live there.
They got a lot of good drugs down there, Joe.
Yeah, I know.
This
used to live there.
Neil Rogers. This
I know a guy who can hook you up.
Do you?
Talk radio I've ever heard in my life was on WIOD.
Who sounds like a moron?
It's time.
Every time he speaks,
It's the way God wants it to be.
wants to take a city and cover it in sweeps. Ray Nagin can.
Ray Nagin can?
Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
And I don't care what people are saying.
Sounds like Jesse Jackson.
We as black people.
His comments are bizarre.
Surely God is mad.
He compares the locals to a Willy Wonka park.
Chocolate.
Ray Nagin can.
Ray Nagin can?
Yes, Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to rebuild a New Orleans, the one that should be uptown or wherever they are. This city will be chocolate, a chocolate New Orleans.
He never takes the blame for anything he says.
Chocolate at the end of the day.
Put that chocolate in some coffee and you'll off Juan Valdez. Ray Nagin can. Ray Nagin can.
You know I can.
Ray Megan can, 'cause he wants to make New Orleans taste good.
You can't have New Orleans no other way. It wouldn't be New Orleans.
Hey, that guy in Ohio we read the story about yesterday, he has a yearning to wash the chocolate down with something really
right.
tasty. And the reason I played that is not because all this hoopla about New Orleans again and Katrina, and they're just drowning us, if you pardon that expression, in the sea of New Orleans again. But because of the chocolate part.
Yeah.
Leave it to the Dutch to help demonstrate the health benefits of chocolate. See, this is so asinine, but I read it only because it's amusing to me. A study of older men in the Netherlands, known for its luscious chocolate, which is baloney. Since when was the Netherlands known for its luscious chocolate? The Swiss, Belgium?
Yeah. Since
Italy?
they said they were, I guess.
I beg your pardon?
Since they said they were.
No, the Netherlands is not known for its luscious chocolates, okay? That's crap. Indicated those who ate the equivalent of a third of a chocolate bar every day had a lower blood pressure and reduced risk of death. So, in other words, eat a third of a candy bar. Or about 10 grams of chocolate a day, yeah. Now, that would be really good for somebody like me who's addicted to sugar, is to eat, just have a third of a candy bar. You'll live to be 140. The researchers say, however, it's too early to conclude it was chocolate that led to better health. The men who ate more cocoa products could have shared other qualities that made them healthier. Maybe they were doing like a lot of drugs. Experts also point out that eating too much chocolate can make you fat, a risk for both heart disease and high blood pressure. No Schmidt. How do you like that? Isn't that profound? Wow. Experts also point out, so you have to be an expert to know things like that. You have to be a chocolatologist. It's way too early to make recommendations about whether people should eat more cocoa or chocolate, said Brian Buijs, a nutritional epidemiologist at Wageningen at University of the Netherlands, who co-authored the study. It's probably on the payroll of all the chocolate companies in Europe. Probably the Nestle's people are feeding him through a giant tube. Still, the Dutch study, supported by grants from the Netherlands Prevention Foundation, appears to be the largest so far to document a health effect for cocoa beans. It also confirms findings of smaller, shorter-term studies that link chocolate with lower blood pressure. Researchers examined the eating... Look at this. They collected data for more than a decade on Dutch men ages 65 and older. They examined the eating habits of 470 healthy men who were not taking blood pressure medicine. The people who ate the most products made from cocoa beans, including cocoa drinks, chocolate bars, and chocolate pudding, had lower blood pressure and 50% lower risk of death. 50% lower risk of death. I'm going to go out and get 40 pounds of chocolate right during the next break.
Oh, I'm having some chocolate coffee right now.
Cocoa beans contain flavanols, which are thought to increase nitric oxide in the blood, improve the function of blood vessels. They improve the function at your junction. This is a very important article providing epidemiological support for what many researchers have been observing in experimental models, said Cesar Fraga of the University of California, Davis, who does similar research but wasn't involved in the new study. Buisi noted the men eating the most cocoa products were not heavier or bigger eaters than the men who ate less cocoa. Bussey, maybe his name is Don and Daryl Bussey from the Chicago harness racing circuit. I'm sure you remember them.
Oh, yeah. No.
Kind of like Joe Marsh Jr. and his son Ron. Jerry in Jacksonville, North Carolina. You see this? This is where the faxes come from, people out of town. People in town, that's it. Give me the old raspberry. But Jerry in Jacksonville says, congratulations on being tenacious enough to endure 30 years.
About 30, man.
I haven't played that yet. I'll play it. Back in the summer of '98, you had a drawing on your show to attend a preseason game of the Dolphins against Green Bay up in your club seats. My family thoroughly enjoyed this experience, and thank you for your generosity. You're welcome, Jerry. That's Jerry with a G, so I can... Well, either way. However, 6 months after that, we were able to escape from Miami to North Carolina, where I calmly listen to you every day at work. Calmly, it says. Thanks for making my work days go by easier. Jerry implies, of course, that being in Jacksonville, North Carolina is much more serene. And I would agree, even though I've never been there. Do you know where Jacksonville, North Carolina is?
No, not exactly.
No?
I'll check it out, though. I don't think it's near my neck of the woods.
Your neck of the woods?
No.
Oh. Well, maybe Jerry will stop by and knock on the door someday and bring you like a tenth of a candy bar.
Good luck finding the house.
Bring you a little tiny piece of candy bar. Now, is Alan Spaulding and what's his name? Are they hiding in your house? Is that where Beth has got him locked up?
Well, somebody's in there with the power on because I'm getting an awfully expensive bill.
What?
Somebody's got the electricity on up there, so somebody's hiding in my house.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Maybe Mama's got a boyfriend up there you know about.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, for her. Oh, and speaking of that, I guess before I do these teachers with the sex with a kid stories, before I do those, I'll probably take a couple of calls since this is, after all, the end of 30 years on the air in South Florida. Who'd have thought I would have made it? I really had my doubts there for a little while.
You're not gonna last.
Especially after those 2 trips to Florida, man. 2 trips talking about, oh my God, eating candy. Holy moly. My favorite is when the giant size, you know those Cadbury Easter eggs?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. My favorite is when the giant 20-pound bag comes out. That's my favorite. Just kind of like appears magically. Like somebody with a magic chocolate wand.
Jacksonville, North Carolina is on the coast, or near the coast, so.
Oh, I see. So probably it's
nowhere
pretty nice
near me.
there. WQAM, hello.
Fiddler!
WQAM, hello.
Cocoa Puffs.
What is it? Cocoa Puffs?
Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs what?
Chocolate.
Oh, chocolate. Okay. Boy, I didn't realize he had a twin. Oh. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Neil, how you doing? Happy 30th,
Okay,
man.
thanks.
What about people in South Florida, the worst drivers?
They're what?
Worst drivers.
Worst drivers. Let's see. People are, yeah, okay, I'll buy that. Thanks. The worst drivers in the world.
Yeah, they are.
Got it? Yeah, one of my cab drivers was bitching to me about the drivers here the other day. I said, boy, I'll tell you, kiss the ground, you're not in South Florida, for many other reasons as well.
You know, if it were only that...
which they're not too fond of schmata-heads like you guys in South Florida. What is it?
Like you guys, if that's the only thing that you're avoiding by living up there, you're adding 10 years at least.
Well, I'm sure of that. I had that conversation with my regular driver the other day. I was saying that's one of the reasons I'm so, even though I love my Corvettes, man, I just love them. I love them. Almost as much as Barbara stood to love the Jewish people. But I don't want any part of it. I don't miss driving at all. And especially now that I know most of my regular cab drivers, even the schmata-heads. See, you know, when you live in a really big city, which South Florida has nothing to do with big cities, South Florida, as I've told you for a long, long time, is just a bunch of disconnected bedroom towns, one of which has nothing to do with the other. And there's nothing big city-ish about it. It's just a bush league backwater place.
It's a sprawl. It's not a city.
That's all. That's right. The sprawl goes on all the way from the Keys all the way up to Stewart now. As you're flying over, you look down and you see almost no break there on the Intracoastal. Just building after building and condo after condo. Just just a sprawl of disconnected nothingness, that's all. And you live in a really big city, and you see, in fact, they do say, whoever they are, the people who conduct these studies who are, scamming somebody, that this is the most multicultural city in the world, Toronto. And I believe them. It's, and yeah, there's some smelly people, most of whom hang out at Woodbine. But it's
let me ask you, because I don't really know
whatever you want.
The non-French Canadians do they bathe like Americans bathe or less?
No. The only people that are smelly here are like people from abroad.
I see.
And not all the people from abroad, just some that just haven't learned. When you're wearing that thing on your head for like months at a time, it tends to get a little gamey under there.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine the French Canadians would be like the French.
Right, stinko in every respect. But the good part of it is we don't have any French Canadians here. I don't encounter any of that. None. As opposed to like in Montreal, where it just in the beginning I liked it, as you recall, because they have fantastic restaurants and a nice casino. But boy, the people there are just obnoxious. So I don't want you to feel bad like they're taking on you personally in South Florida. That's just the way they are, the French Canadians. So when the frogs come down and invade Hallandale and Hollywood and Dania, they can't help it. That's just them. They are just obnoxious. And like I told, who was I talking to? Woody Graber yesterday about the language thing?
Okay, let's pretend.
Believe me when I tell you, the French obsession is so much. The hatred that exists in the province of Quebec is 1,000 times whatever exists in South Florida because of no speak it English. I mean, they're not even close. Not even close. I mean, unless you were doing the bilingual thing at one time, I think they finally stopped them from doing that. But they would put you out of business in Montreal or in Quebec City.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, put you out of business. Obsessive, obnoxious. But anyway, it's and I'm sure like people have lived in New York because this is really. And I did live in Detroit, but I lived in Southfield for 2 years, which is just another suburb. It was like living in Detroit only from the standpoint that you hopped in your car and you got on the expressway whenever you wanted. Certainly nobody wanted to go downtown.
Yeah.
But real big cities have like Manhattan in New York or LA's got a downtown. I don't know if I want to go there. I haven't been there in too long. So I really, for me to comment on LA, all I know is last time I was there, it was like going to Vietnam. I was waiting to see Robin Williams. That's the only funny movie he ever made in his life.
What?
Good Morning Vietnam.
I'm thinking.
Can you name me another movie he was funny in?
Well,
Robin
I
Williams?
don't think that was all that funny.
No, but I'm saying,
You know.
of all the ones he ever made, no, that wasn't all that funny either. He got a big hype job on it.
Right.
It was okay. It was somewhat amusing.
See, I
That's
never
because
saw
we weren't
Patch
brought out
Adams.
yet on that same phony act. See,
Right.
he's one of those people who is always on. He's always
Sure.
on. When he's interviewed, no matter what movie he's on, no matter where, he's always on. And
Yeah.
after a while, it gets a little irritating. You know what I'm talking about?
I guess Mrs. Doubtfire was cute. That's about it.
Oh, he was dressing up in drag? Mm-hmm. Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, God.
I know you're not into drag anymore.
Not no more. I'm going to go out and get the Tab Hunter autobiography, though, today, I think. He made a couple movies with Divine.
Yes, he did.
So how could anybody have known that he was gay? I guess just a lucky wild guess on my
I think
part.
everybody who ever met John was.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM. This is Mark Morgan. It's the 12 to 1 hour on QAM.
Tonight on the Islamic Cartoon Network, it's Bugs Sarkawi.
What's up, infidel? Say, this doesn't look like Tikrit. I must have taken a wrong time in Afghanistan. Ain't I a stinker?
This here's a Mohammed David for our special Olympics, which should be a little more entertaining than the Molympics. That is so deadly boring that even the Vicks can't be funny. Everywhere I go.
Feel my head, Mo.
What for?
My brain is numb.
This one?
Not that head.
This one?
Ow!
That's enough, you putz breath. We got 3 cars to watch. See them all over there?
Yeah.
They're waiting for the bus.
What are they supposed to be doing over there?
Get on the bus, I guess. Who knows? They're in a Special Olympics. They're very special. Get a load of the fat one there. Looks like a high point.
Yeah, that guy there. He's got his shirt buttoned all the way to his chin.
Should blend right in. Look, there he goes.
He's trying to get the bus.
Show some sensitivity, you moron. And now for our next facial Molympic event. The retards will plant dingleberry seed. Look at them working so hard. Let's ask this oddly shaped blonde girl how she's doing. Hey, you. What is your name? Rita. So, how's you doing with your dingleberries in the seed? What are you gonna do? Get out of here. You don't play over there. They grow in dark. Get out of there.
I tell you one thing, boy. It's right the same with him, no Mo, ain't it? A lot more pleasant. I mean, got a nice email from Blabo Lassiter just now that I just responded to. Thanks a lot, Blabo. Take care of yourself. Yeah, really nice thing. Congratulating me on 30 years of surviving. And by the way, I heard the promo that they were running, I don't know, I guess it was maybe yesterday. See, this isn't 30 years I've been in the business. This goes to show you how much they know about anybody, including me. 30 years in Miami. Been in business for 46 years. Yeah. 46 years in one of the worst businesses in history. And yes, it has been very good to me, but for most, man, there's a long graveyard, literally and figuratively, of people whose bones are scattered from the ashes are scattered all over the place from the hysteria from this business. Pathetic. Mm-hmm. Stress, I got 2 words for you, man. Stress kills. Of course, especially when you're diabetic, multiply times 100. Right. Stress kills. That's why when you call here again, Clarence, you'll hear the dial tone immediately, if not sooner. In fact, I'm going to start, since he thinks I got these great psychic powers, I'm going to start like using those every time the phone rings. I'm going to sit there and put my head in my hand like Kreskin, you know. Oh, I think that's Clarence. I'm not going to answer that phone. See, the one good thing with me, I've got a very generic voicemail here. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have my voice on or anything else. So if you left me a message, you'd never really be positive whether I got it or not. Right. No, I like that. I never leave a message. I always use the generic thing.
For any phone.
What do you mean by that?
Like whether it's your voicemail at home or your cell phone or something like that. There's always a generic message if you just do nothing.
Yeah.
And I always leave it that way for that very same reason.
Oh, I see. In a barely audible voice, a former Rolling Green Elementary School music teacher yesterday admitted to having sex with a fifth grader in 2003. Carol Flanagan. Rather than risk life behind bars on a capital sexual battery charge, Carol Lynn Flanagan, 51, pleaded guilty to the lesser crime of lewd and lascivious molestation. She'll spend 5 years in prison, followed by 10 years of sex offender probation, meaning she'll be a registered sex offender. Flanagan was to give up her teaching license immediately, if not sooner. Circuit Judge Lucy Chernow Brown granted Flanagan a furlough until March 13, when she's to surrender. Should she be arrested or fail to show up then, Brown warned her that she faces a maximum 15-year sentence. She's getting, how much? 5 years. And 10 years of probation. Dressed in a pink jacket and beige skirt, with a house arrest ankle monitor bulging beneath her pantyhose, Flanagan told the judge she understood what it means to be a registered sex offender. To be certain, Brown spelled it out for her. It's an adult that preys upon or sexually exploits a child, Brown told her. Gender is irrelevant. And it seems to be more and more, we're getting more of these, which I got that other story about that nasty-looking bitch in South Carolina. More and more women doing this stuff. Well, what's that all about?
I don't know. Where were they when I was young?
No, you see, I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that right now because it goes to show the great double standard that you guys have got. If it's a female, that's a female teacher doing hanky-panky with a male student, all right, you go, son. You know, makes him a real man. You know, that's
right.
How come I couldn't get some of that? Although in looking at these two, I don't think you want any of that. But nevertheless, but if, for example, it was a male teacher having sex with your daughter or, God forbid, with your son, it would be like, no questions asked,
That's
okay?
right. Glad you understand.
Right, and they won't be filling the gun with blanks this time either, like that Persian guy.
Hey, don't go ruin and crash for people.
I'm sorry. I didn't say crash. You just did it. Idiot. It's seated in the courtroom during the plea conference was the father of the now 15-year-old boy, whom the South Florida Sun-Sentinel is not identifying because of the nature of the crime. The father is also admitted to having a sexual relationship with Flanagan, declined comment. See, this is the part here. This reminds me of the story, was it in Hollywood a few years ago? Remember we had that story?
Hollywood.
Where the whole family was, you remember that? Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's right, it was here. Was it in Hollywood or Pembroke Pines? Something with a P. Plantation?
Yeah, there was something with a P involved, that's for sure.
Right, yeah, the whole family was in on it.
The father has admitted to having a sexual relationship with Flanagan, but the father's civil attorney, Dan Bacci, speaking of good chocolates from Italy, Bacci, that thing about Netherlands is known for great chocolates? Since when?
Since they decided they were.
I don't know what they're talking about. I never heard. I've only been there about 200 times. I must be missing out. Dan Bacci said the family is relieved to have the criminal case behind them. They're glad Carol Flanagan's going to prison, Bacci said. She was accused of carrying on a 19-month sexual relationship with a boy who was a student at the Boynton Beach School. The boy and his siblings often spent the night at Flanagan's Boca home, where much of the sex took place. Flanagan gave the boy and his father money. She gave the boy and his father money. The boys testified that Flanagan's husband, Douglas DePue, who was divorcing Flanagan, knew about the sexual relationship, though DePue said he had no idea. Last summer, the father reached a $1.5 million settlement with DePue's insurance carrier, a civil suit against Flanagan and the Palm Beach County School Board and others still pending. And in Lawrence, South Carolina, where everybody kind of hangs it out together.
Yeah,
South Carolina.
Close there.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I ought to move this other story up here about the Christian movement moving into Palmetto State. We had some stuff about that earlier.
Yes,
we
did.
want to keep people abreast of what's happening in South Carolina. Just one more good reason not to go there.
I posted one story about it.
About South Carolina?
And not the Christian movement.
Moving into Palmetto States, and then we probably both posted it. See, every now and then while I was on vacation, I sneaked like a Maureen Dowd story or something to Josh that I didn't think you were going to have.
That's fine, because I wasn't sending enough.
I guess Saturday, George was just trying to make up for lost time.
Right.
When he only got 4 or 5 stories. Because the last couple of days I noticed and I don't know why we waste all of our time. Do you know that yesterday, I want to weep when I see how few people are reading these stories on there. Why do we waste our time? What is the point?
I don't know.
The most read story yesterday had 238 reads. That's about half of what we usually get. Now today, guess which story has got, which I decided finally to put on there.
I don't know, the one about the chocolate.
One about me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. 350 already. And Bush, see, if it's a story about Bush, a negative story about Bush or Cheney, or if it's got the F word in it, or about me, obviously, then it'll get a lot of people read it. Anything else, we don't wanna, you know? Come on, read it. We don't wanna. And Josh depends on a big part of his desperate income right now for that, so you better get with it.
That's right.
What do you guys have for lunch today?
It's Howie's.
Oh, Howie's.
Having a chicken
Not John
sandwich.
the Baker, though, or something like that.
John the Baker's tomorrow.
Tomorrow's John the Baker. Excellent. You notice Duff actually gave me some feedback on that. Glad to find out we're doing a good job for you, John the Baker. It's nice to, you know, if you have any conscience at all, to find out if you're doing a good job or not, which I'd actually like to find out. Oh, that sales department, man, I'll tell you, it needs an H-bomb back there. It needs something, una bomba. And I'm delighted to see. Now, let me ask you this on the air. Brett, remember New York Brett? Is he gone?
No.
Well, how come Brian's got Brandy's now, which I'm ecstatic to see Brian Schmutz having a good account?
I don't know.
Well, that's good to see. I thought Brett had that momentarily. And, of course, Berkeley, she's long gone.
Right.
That, well, you say it. Lawrence, South Carolina, a former fifth-grade teacher accused of having sex with her 11-year-old student was ordered held on a $100,000 bond this weekend. Prosecutors have wanted Wendy A. Schweikert, 36. If you could see the photo, have you seen her picture?
No.
Oh, man. She is the face of South Carolina. The only other person I can think of who represents the state even better was Susan Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prosecutors had wanted her jailed without bond, saying she was a danger to the community and a flight risk. Schweikert was arrested Friday on 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a minor after the boy's mother accused the teacher of having sex with him at school at least twice, said Lawrence Police Chief Robin Morse. That's Lawrence, South Carolina. The former teacher admitted in a statement to having sex with the boy, Morse said. Schweikert, who resigned from her job at E.B. Moore. And by the way, since it's now past noon, I'm assuming that the Howard Stern post-game activities are over with now. Herb from Coral Springs, I read your facts on here. I'm still suicidal about it, okay? That's how depressed I am. That anybody would waste their time sending me a 2-page fax, on the one hand, thanking me for all those years and yada, 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 and on the other hand, giving me a song to dance about how he and his brother are compelled to listen to every word that Howard says on Sirius and Not Too Serious and the post-game show and the West Coast feed and the Central USA feed and the Canadian feed and feed this.
And chicken feed.
Yeah. Schweikert, who resigned from her job at E.B. Morse Elementary School on Friday, did not speak during the hearing, didn't have an attorney. The boy's mother tried to tell the judge how shaken her son was, but was choked back by tears. The boy wanted his mother to tell the court he was scared, prosecutor Jerry Peace said. He's terrified that the defendant will get out on bond. I guess everybody wanted a little peace. A man who answered the door at Schweikert's home Saturday would not comment. Lawrence is in northwestern South Carolina, for those of you who are tracking it on your maps, on your GPS systems.
Right. Which is illegal in the United Arab Emirates.
And that's correct. Just about anything there is, especially if it's kosher. And in fact, you have to sign a document when you go there to prove that you only eat treif. The first thing they give. No, the first thing when you land at the airport in Dubai is they give you a bacon cheeseburger and they stand there and will watch you eat it.
Aren't they kosher too, though?
What do you mean by that?
The Muslims, they got the same.
They don't care.
All your people, you know.
They know their own. Okay, if you're not one of their own, then it's another story. Okay, don't start pissing off the Arab street, man. You're going to have some raghead come in someday and give you what for, you know? And won't be with blanks this time either. Oh, don't say crash again. He'll Ryan Felipe you if you don't watch it. He'll Ryan Felipe you. Poor Ryan, you know?
I know. Is your microphone
so sad.
on?
I felt, huh?
His problem.
I felt so bad there at the end, you know?
I know. You wanted to comfort him?
Yeah. He's all right.
He is all right. No problems with him at all.
There's no problem with
when
him.
When he's not talking like this,
he's
definitely a great actor, yeah.
No. 12 minutes past noon. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you understand.
Of course.
Matt Dillon, I got the Matt Dillon story. He's up for, in fact, Crash is up for 6 Oscars. You know that?
No, I didn't. I do now.
I got that.
And deservedly so, I would imagine.
One of the fine movies you will ever see. And the fact that I just watched it a few days ago, and it was on again last night on my cable. And it was like right exactly in the midway. It was on between 7 and 9, and it was 8 o'clock. So I thought, well, it's got an hour to go. I'll watch. And I couldn't turn it off. It was it's great.
It sucks you in. I've seen it twice.
Oh, don't say that. And that Don Cheadle, the fifth Beatle, man, I'm going to tell you. You know that new movie he's starring in? Nostradamus.
You know, now that John Amos ain't around anymore.
Well, will you stop with that? That is so bad. 12:13. You know what? I guarantee if the ragheads don't get you, the brothers will. I guarantee you that right now.
I'm
They're
on
really
good
pissed off
terms,
with your
man.
altitude.
They know my love runs
Little
deep.
wise-ass spick like you. Hey, attention men. If you have a hair loss problem, if you're currently wearing a hair system, you better listen to this, please. Charles Alfieri has been supplying and designing hair systems for showbiz people, politicians, and more importantly, everyday schmucks like you for over 40 years. Over 40 years, man. That's even longer than I've been around. Most people say you can always spot a hair system. I say to those people, how many good hair systems go undetected because it looks like the real thing? Charles Alfieri's hair systems are completely natural, designed with just the right amount of hair and the proper recessions. Run your hands through it, and the hair too. It looks and feels just like your own hair. And for just, this deal is so good you can't pass it up. Remember that? He's going to make us the offer. The word on the street is the deal is going to be so good we can't refuse.
Is that on the air?
Sonny said that? For just $99, Charlie will custom design a hair system for you. You try it for a couple of weeks. If you're happy with the way it looks and feels and smells, if you're getting lots of action, then it's yours for just an additional $500. Charlie is so confident that you will be satisfied, he offers you the following unbeatable guarantee. If you're not completely happy with your hair system, just return it, and Charlie gives you back the $99. That's an offer you can't refuse. It costs you nothing. You will lose nothing except that bald spot. So call Charlie today, toll-free at 1-800-321-2413. Make an appointment. You'll find a studio in prestigious Fort Lauderdale, and Charlie will sit your ass down and show you how much better and how many years younger he can help you guys look. 1-800-321-2413, or on the wicked web, charlesalfieri.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Now, 2 years later, and say, it took me a little while, I'm a little slow learner, but, Neil, I apologize. It's Wadio. You are the truth.
All right, let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Puff Daddy, sitting in the chair. I'll call you Puffy. Yo, man, yo. Are you ready? Yeah. Here's your $100 question. Finish this nursery rhyme. All right. Hickory, dickory, blank. Is it A, dock, B, pier, C, marina, or D, inlet?
Whoa, man. This is a $100 question right here?
You're kidding me, right?
This is $100.
For $100.
This ain't the $1 million question?
Well, this is the first one.
Man.
It's only for $100.
Is this a black thing?
Would you like to use a lifeline?
Yeah, all right. What do I got?
Well, we have the Ask the Audience, the 50-50, and the Phone a Friend.
Ask the audience. Nah, too many white people in here. 50-50 ain't gonna help me. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna phone a friend.
Gonna phone a friend on the $100 question, finishing the nursery rhyme.
Yeah.
All right, who are we gonna call, Puppy?
Oh, my boy, Old Dirty Bastard.
Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah, Dirty we call him.
Our friends from AT&T will get Old Dirty on the line, and hopefully he can help you.
Yo.
Old Dirty.
Yeah, man.
Regis Philbin from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. How are you?
Aight.
Got your friend here, Puff Daddy.
Yo, Dirty, what's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
All right.
What's up,
Old Dirty, Puff Daddy's in a little bit of trouble here on the $100 question.
Ain't the first time, man.
First question, and the next voice you hear will be his. He'll come on the line. He'll ask you the question. He'll give you 4 possible choices. Are you set?
Hey, man.
Next voice you hear will be his, and 30 seconds begins now.
What's up? Yo, Dirty, finish this off for me, all right?
Hey, man.
Hickory, dickory, blank. Is it A, dock, B, pier, C, merino, or D, inlet?
Oh.
Come on, man. I don't got much time.
Man, I know this, man. I know it. I think it's pier.
Pier, you sure?
About 30, man.
This is a lot of money, man.
About 30.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right, about 30, man.
Time's up. Old Dirty said pier. You still have 2 lifelines left. We are on the $100 question.
You know what, Regis?
Want to poll the audience?
No, I'd like to add a lifeline.
Actually, no, there's only 3 lifelines. You've used 1, you have 2 left.
No. I get another lifeline. It's a brand new one to the game.
And what is that, Puffy?
It's called Shoot the Host.
Puffy, you can ask the audience.
I call it Shoot the Host.
Puffy, use the 50-50.
What's the answer?
Puffy, it's Doc. It's A. It's Doc.
My final answer's Doc.
It's Doc. And it's a good one. You got $100.
Run, you white boy, run!
Show the height. Run. Show the height.
12:21, so that's where that came from.
About 30, man.
The last time. It'll be on the disc, I understand. Oh, and speaking of the disc, it's what?
Because we just got the hot copies in our hands.
Wow. And what is this one called? It's called, I think...
About 30, man.
Yes, Neil Rogers presents About 30, man, commemorating 30 years of entertaining South Florida.
Oh, my gosh.
See, it's right on the disc, see.
And where do they get this? Is there a thing on our website yet, or is it...
Well, Miguel and Eric are emailing back and forth to get it posted on there, make sure the link to the store works, all of these things.
Yeah, and
go on sale starting tomorrow.
Some van hits.
There will be some hits.
Taking
and
a few
van
hits,
too, yeah.
Yeah, we hear there are going to be a couple of hits. I think one happened already yesterday.
Don't mess with my log.
Well, that was really extra nasty of Joe Bell to come in here this morning before the show and give me that bad news about the water Nazi having submitted a resignation yesterday.
He did apologize for ruining your day.
He did apologize to me for ruining my whole day, and I said,
all right.
Good. See, he ruined my day in a good day as opposed to our junior program director who yesterday started me just shoveling. I felt like Kirstie Alley, man, with ice cream sandwiches. I'm a little distracted because I'm shooting my quail now on my website. Well, I can't pass it up every time I get on here. Oh, look at that. I just shot the guy in the middle there. Oh, no.
Track 21, by the way, on this disc, because if I can get it open.
Is what?
Is the Puffy with Regis.
About 30, man.
Good. So there it is. The charity is the money's going to go to Abandoned Pet Rescue.
Right. And, just to explain this to people, since we're on the issue, it's got stuff that we could never play, stuff that we used to be able to play but can never play again.
Right.
Some old classics.
A lot of filthy stuff on it, right.
Some old classics that we don't want to play ever again, like the Bridge Tender.
Oh,
but they can't get enough of it. And some nice, new, fresh things, too, just to be fresh.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes. Like the Bridge Tender.
Right.
Okay. Well, there you go. So, what are we doing, $20 again?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, go ahead.
You got the T-shirts, too. The T-shirt has the same cover as the CD, and they're big and beautiful and, purple and not too gay.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, that's good. It's a really good cause, Abandoned Pet Rescue, because like I've told you for a long time, most dogs are better than a lot of the humans I've met in my life, especially in, well, I don't want to say especially. That would be bad. South Florida. Especially in South Carolina was what I was thinking. Ricky faxes and says, Ricky in Ricky Ticky. By the way, thanks again to Rick Shaw for the kind words in that column, that Kevin Bastard thing. That was very nice. Thank you, Rick. You're okay. Let's tip our cap, our old swirled cap to Rick Shaw.
All right. Very nice.
I'd like to just one time, I know he's bald as a bowling ball, but then again, so am I now, but that's by choice. But I'd like to see him one time without the cap on, wouldn't you?
I would recognize.
See that chrome dome? He used to sit a few rows in front of me. I told you this so many times it's very boring, but at the Dolphin games, when I had my season tickets, me and the fat man, and every game, we'd be there before the game, and Rick would turn around and give me the big wave. He's a good guy. He's misunderstood. A lot of people, well, same thing with me, A lot of people think I'm a bastard, especially in that building. But that's, think whatever you want. I really see with me, I don't care. He probably doesn't care either. Here's the fax from Ricky in somewhere. Oh, in Port St. Lucie, John and Ricky. Happy 30th anniversary tomorrow. I'll be flying to chilly Boston, so we'll miss the show. It's cold, all right. Trust me when I tell you. The sun is shining. It looks beautiful. It is cold here, man. No snow on the ground, though. I just mentioned that in passing for Castronova. You're a lot of fun and certainly are addictive. Unfortunately, we haven't been listening to you for 30 years. Our loss. Congratulations. Thanks to John and Ricky. Have a safe trip to Boston, okay? Let's see. I'm making up a poll for tomorrow. Okay, do you want me to tell you what the poll is tomorrow?
Sure, go ahead.
Are you still eating, Howie?
Still eating, man.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of eating, in line with what I was saying before, halal is to the schmata heads as kosher is to the hebes. Halal, which I see that on signs all over the place, in the Middle Eastern restaurants, where they have like shawarma. What is shawarma?
Maybe somebody will fax in, the same person that knew that.
Is that like lamb? I know that they're very big on lamb, which, lamb is gamey to me. Do you like lamb chops?
I have never had lamb that I've liked in my life.
I don't like it.
It's greasy and sweet.
Oh, is it? I always thought it was kind of like gamey.
Yeah, well, maybe that's
lamb chops. Although I don't mind pork chops, especially if I was going to go to Dubai. That'd be the first thing I'd order would be some nice pork chops. Anyway, the poll tomorrow, which I probably shouldn't let this out of the sack yet, but what difference does it make? It's, a little self-serving, but who cares? What best describes Neil's 30 years on a year in Miami? Now, here are the choices I've got. Maybe you got some additions. Fun, entertaining, aggravating, ponderous, enough already, informative, a real mitzvah, a miracle, lucky, stale, scintillating, the pulse of South Florida, or provocative.
That's good.
It's pretty. I got some negative ones on there, but of course, if you're still listening after all this time, and you just want to take a gratuitous shot, I give you plenty of opportunity to do it there. Like Stale Rogers. Oh, and by the way, how is it that we're still continuing? We hardly ever even mentioned the Meister, and somehow we continue doing a show. It's amazing to me.
Oh, I'm sure when the next ratings book comes out, you'll see.
All these different clowns over the years. Oh, you'd never have a show if I'm not around. Like Joey Reynolds used to say the same thing,
yes,
too.
He did.
Here is a chronic faxer who says, a movie in which Robin Williams is very funny, Moscow on the Hudson. Didn't see it. Played a Russian musician.
Okay. It was fine.
Okay. With effects to the U.S. in Bloomingdale's. And 2, a movie in which he does wonderfully in a non-comedic role, Awakening. A doctor in a New York clinic who wakes up comatose patients, including Robert De Niro.
The movie isn't bad, but the bit that we have about it is much better.
What is that?
Awakenings.
We have an Awakenings bit?
We have Awakenings 2.
In the motion picture Awakenings.
Oh, okay. Well, that's probably coming up. And this is from the Chronic in Cocoa, not to be confused with the Chronic from Boynton Beach or the Chronic from Boca, whoever it was. Remember that fax I got, in which I recognized the handwriting?
Yeah.
That was really something. And to quit blaming a hurricane, that had nothing to do with it, and yada, yada, yeah, right. Another radio maven, it's a really cranky person, whoever that faxer is. Now, I'm not talking about the Chronic from Cocoa, all is straightened out there. But that other one, cranky and nasty and hostile. How'd you like to wake up to a piece of crap like that every day?
Oh,
27 past noon at QAM. Finally, a TV experience like no other. Make no mistake, Comcast digital cable with on-demand is easy to use and has lots to love. And today you can try it for just $34.99 a month for 3 months. Why is TV so much better with on-demand? For starters, you can watch a wide variety of movies and shows whenever you want. It's a revolutionary new way to enjoy TV. On Demand is a library of thousands of programs ready to start when you say so, with programming including free movies, kids shows, music videos, cooking shows, sports, home improvement shows, guitar lessons, and lots more. You'll always have something good to watch right when you want to watch it. And don't forget about control. When you have On Demand, you can start, stop, pause, rewind, fast-forward programs using your remote. You can't get all this with satellite. With up to 250 channels plus On Demand, you can build your own TV schedule. Who could possibly ask for more? And best of all, On Demand is free with Comcast digital cable. So pick your showtime, sit back, and you wonder how you ever managed to get along without it. Call today, order Comcast digital cable HBO with the power of On Demand for only $34.99 a month for 3 months. Call today, 305-COMCAST in Dade or in 954-COMCAST.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Tonight on the Islamic Cartoon Network, it's Beavis and Bin Laden.
Hey, Beavis.
What's that, Bin Laden?
I know how you can get 72 virgins.
Virgins! I want virgins!
Settle down, Beavis. All you gotta do is blow yourself up.
He said blow.
Good morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news. One day, Mickey Mouse woke up and Minnie was gone. He went to look for her, and as he stepped outside, he saw Mickey Sucks written in a yellow liquid in the snow. He investigated and realized there was good and bad news. It was Goofy's urine, but Minnie's handwriting. Now, page 2. Sam was sprawled across 3 entire seats of a theater. When the usher came by and noticed, he whispered to Sam, "Sorry, sir, but you're only allowed 1 seat." Sam groaned but didn't move. The usher became impatient. "Sir," he said, "if you don't get up from there, I'm going to have to call the manager." Again, Sam just groaned, which infuriated the usher, who turned and marched briskly back up the aisle in search of his manager. In a few moments, both the usher and manager returned and stood over Sam. Together, the two of them tried repeatedly to move him, but without success. Finally, they summoned the police. The cops surveyed the situation briefly and said, "Sir, what is your name?" "Sam," he said. "Where are you from, Sam?" the policeman asked, and Sam replied, "The balcony, Paul Harvey." Good day.
Good day. Here's a fax from Pedro who says, "Happy anniversary. I've been listening to you since Hurricane Andrew. Listen religiously every day. Tell that moron who listens to Stern instead of you to get with it. Download Stern off BitTorrent and listen to him after you're off. Going to Vegas this weekend, staying at the Bellagio. Can't wait to see Sin City for the first time. Never been there. Oh, man. But from your descriptions, I know it's great. P.S. How do you attack the buffet? One of our classic calls in the history of this show. How do you attack the buffet at the Emerald Coast? That was great. I was a real idiot, if you ask me. Thanks, Pedro. Are you still there, or are you?
No, I was over. I'm faxing, relaying a fax.
Oh, scared the hell out of me.
No, I just couldn't add anything to that anyway.
Well, here's something that ought to scare the hell out of everybody. The Supreme Court dealt a setback today to abortion clinics in a 2-decade-old legal fight over anti-abortion protest, ruling that federal extortion and racketeering laws cannot be used to ban demonstrations. The 8-0 decision ends a case that the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals had kept alive, despite a 2003 ruling by the High Court that lifted a nationwide injunction on anti-abortion groups led by Joseph Scheidler and others. Anti-abortion groups brought the appeal after the appellate court sought to determine whether the injunction could be supported by charges that protesters made threats of violence. See, there's the problem with you religious nuts out there, okay? You can't mind your own effing business. That's the problem, okay? It's supposed to be a free country. You can do whatever the hell you want, live the way you want, but you can't mind your own effing business no matter what the hell it is. Keep your nose out of other people's bedrooms. Keep your nose out of women's innards. Keep your nose out of other people's decisions, okay? Just like that Terry Ender that story. That was the epitome of what America's turned into, these religious nut jobs. And America's become so religious now that we're killing more innocent people than ever before. Just slaughtering them, butchering them.
Well, they shouldn't have attacked us.
That's for damn sure. Shouldn't have been involved in that 9/11. 744 votes. People in South Florida are rude and hostile. 374. Nasty. They're angry. And I can understand why they're angry, because most of them are pissed off that they're still there. Dumb as dirt, 148. Mostly okay, 130. 100 and about
30, man.
I hate this poll, 52. The worst drivers in the world, 25. Friendly, only 8. Solamente 8. And certainly not on Calle 8. They're hostile there. Especially if no pique de pani. The best 5 and geeks 2 out of 744. 5670560 pound 560 in the Verizon Singular Wireless line. Let's have a spurt of call. What do you say? Huh? Well, that's all we got on there right now is a small spurt. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I just thought you might like to know. Today, they just released a double-disc version of the Network Special Edition.
Yeah, somebody called yesterday, but I'm glad you reminded me because I can go out and get it.
Yeah, that came out, and Dog Day Afternoon came out as well. It's also a 2-disc set.
What was the other one?
Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, Dog Day Afternoon. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm dying over here.
Exactly.
Thanks,
I just thought you wanted to know, Neil.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino and Alfredo.
Alfredo?
No, Fredo. No, that's the fettuccine Alfredo. You're thinking of Kirstie Alley again, see?
Fettuccine.
Oh, I never played that. See, I had the best of intentions.
I know.
And then I didn't play
In
it.
the motion picture Awakenings, we brought you the inspiring story of Leonard, a man in prison for 40 years by a rare disease, until a courageous doctor freed him with a miraculous new drug. But the drug failed.
Leonard? Leonard? He's not responding, Doctor.
Okay, we're going to have to increase the dosage. Bring in the symbols.
Now medical science tries again in Awakenings 2. And this time, they'll try anything.
Still nothing, Doctor.
Increase the dosage.
Awakenings 2. A story of hope, courage, and wall-to-wall sound. Awakenings 2. For drugs have failed. Can decibels succeed? Awakenings 2. Now playing at a theater near you.
Speaking of Leonard, I wonder whatever happened to that Lenny guy. Remember him? Speaking of chronics that used to show up at the appearances, that chubby Jewish Lenny. Oh,
don't,
boy.
Conjure him
was he
up.
ever a basket case? Good God. Talk about obsessed. Get a life, Leonard.
I have no life.
WQAM, hello. WQAM, hello. Oh, another 2 in a row. 2 of my very favorites. WQAM, hello.
Have you visited the Fund Consumer Education website lately?
All the time.
All right.
I was just on it only moments ago. Let's see. Alex says, I saw Constant Gardener last week, and you were right. I tried to tell you, Alex, I tried to save your eyesight, okay? That movie was putrid, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Thanks, Alex. Well, why didn't you listen to me? I wouldn't make it up. Oh, that movie is so bad, and just like Broke Ass Mountain, Mounting Man. I still haven't watched the rest of it, and I never will. I don't care who kills who does what to whom. It is so slow and ponderous and boring and monotonous. And, of course, America, repressed America, the very concept, gay cowboys, oh, my God. Wow, can you imagine?
Rough
See, there's something about putting on them chaps and them cowboy hats and riding a house that's supposed to make you a lot more macho, you know?
Don't forget the pointy shoes, the pointy heels.
As opposed to being like some kind of hairdresser or one of them, fruity types that they have on TV all the time now.
Shirts with pearl buttons.
That's television's concession to the gay community, is putting out a bunch of Fruit Loops all the time. You know, Queer Eye for the hetero guy and all this other crap. I think instead they just ought to rerun a lot of old Tom Cruise movies.
Yeah.
20 till 1 at QAM. Hey, Tommy.
You fairy.
Come out whenever you can, man. Come out of there. Just stick your head out. No, not that one. Hey, I've been telling you about Dry Concepts for a long time now. Over 21 years that I've used them on my homes to make even the filthy, nasty-looking carpet in my house look just like brand new. In fact, still got the same carpeting thanks to them. And right now, I encourage you to take advantage of Dry Concepts maintenance contract that provides you with a 10% discount on all their fantastic services, including their one-of-a-kind carpet cleaning, leather, drapery, oriental rug cleaning. They specialize in pet odor treatments, ceramic tile and grout cleaning, mattress cleaning. They say goodbye to those dust mites and lots more. All of Dry Concepts technicians are specially trained and certified. In other words, they really know their crap. They're not going to make a mess in your house. They're going to make everything look just like brand new. And they always give you a written guaranteed price up front before they go about doing their fantastic job. Don't be fooled by the imitators. You made a big investment when you decorated your home. Now it's time to protect that investment. Call Dry Concepts today. They'll never let you down. In Dade, Broward, to the Palm Beaches, call them toll-free and tell them that Ancient Neil told you to call 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071, or on the wicked web, it's dryconcepts.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Only in the Banana Republic, baby. Only in Miami.
Absolutely.
Anybody here seen Jack Abramoff in his orange jumpsuit and fedora? He screwed a lot of people, but thieves sometimes get caught. I thought in variety, neocon. Anybody here seen good Christian doctor will be more around their town? He's not convicted yet, but should before he's done taking a shower with his son. Favors and lies is what the White House is paid for. Moralist Christians who know what's best for you and me. Abramoff, that way. He was in some deep, in other words, duty. Anybody here, please stay to time to lady. Gorda Stelton, Hogs ahoy. These kind of slides belong in Camp KY. Abramoff, Dobson, and Tom.
12:45 at QAM. Here's Frank in St. Pete who faxes. See what I tell you? All the messages are coming from out of town.
Right.
In town, it's
we want you to die.
I hope that guy's listening, waiting for my funeral announcement. We'll give you a heads up on it. Congrats on 30 years in the biz, says Frank. Oh, this business sucks, Frank. I'd like to suggest you put translations on your website of all the Hebrew or Yiddish terms you use, so us goyim can know what the hell you're talking about sometime. Like, what's coxahois mean?
That's something you do on a sailboat?
No, it's something you do on the throne.
Oh.
Unless you got a throne on your sailboat. Then you can do it there. Let's see. Here's a fax from Oldies DJ, Rockin' Rich. No connection to Fat Rich. Congrats on the 30 years. I've always enjoyed your show. I'd like to offer one of my car show spots for a van hit for selling your discs and T-shirts for Abandoned Pet Rescue. Each Sunday, I host a classic car show at Krabby Jack's Restaurant in Deerfield Beach, where many beautiful classics, and yes, your favorite vets too, come out for an evening and display these cars for the crowds of peoples. Only real issue I see is that an employee would have to work on a Sunday evening. Well, we can get Miguel out there, right?
Yeah, he's got nothing to do.
Listen, let me say this right now, right up front. This was not my idea, okay? I had no interest in doing this. I was opposed to it vehemently. These things have become a real pain in the ass. Now that those discs, and by the way, when you send me the newspaper, you can throw one of the discs in there, too.
Okay.
But now that they're going to be available very soon as somebody gets the first one, it'll be available. People will be downloading them all over the place. They'll be burning copies for their friends. And that's the unfortunate part of it, is that they don't give a damn about our charity or about us or anything else. They just want a free copy of it, you know.
Let's just think about the people who
like
do
people that have watched bootleg movies, you know.
We'll send you all, stick one of those T-shirts in the envelope, too, so then you can wear it. And when people ask who that is on the T-shirt...
No, I don't think I will be wearing it at all. Anyway, there's his cell phone number. Thanks for the laugh. Whatever you want to do, you know.
I passed it along.
P.S. Hard to believe no grassroots. Chicago 3 Dog Night. Johnny Rivers in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Blondie's in there now. See, I actually saved. It's funny that he should send me this. Yeah. Thank you, Rockin' Rich, because I saved that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame
thing, the Hall of Holes, and I got the whole list. And I'm trying to remember the thing, how many years it has to be. Between their first, was it the first hit that they had on the Billboard Top 100 or whatever? In other words, there's some criteria for being inducted. At any rate, but certainly Chicago and some of these other ones like Johnny Rivers go back a long ways, okay, a long ways, and they ought to be in there if they're not. We might bring that thing back. Although anytime I do a poll having to do with music, the audience starts getting really hostile. You old turd, you. I still say you better watch that movie, Standing in the Shadows of Motown, or else. Mm-hmm. You're going to be really sorry, because then someday, just on your deathbed, somebody will say, did you ever see that? It was one of the best damn movies. No, I missed it too, and then too late. That's it. You'll be doing a Dennis Weaver, or a Rick Weaver. We always got Bob Weaver still around, I hope.
We do.
Love that Joan Osborne, baby. See, I ought to sue the Beasleys because you can't really play that without the fart sounds. Remember that thing I used to do when we played the original one?
That's what made it good.
Oh, of course, that's what made it amusing and hysterical and entertaining. And now we just can't be entertaining anymore because the Beasleys are a bunch of sour pie. Idiots.
I know you want to leave.
Morons.
But I refuse to let you go.
Yahoos.
If I have to pay, please, for your sympathy, I don't mind, because you mean that much to me.
Now, see, you'd play that, and the average schmuck that would come along and think that's Marvin Gaye, wouldn't they? Wouldn't
right.
you?
The average schmuck, yes.
Right.
Not
but
me.
It's not.
Or you.
And you're not going to tell me that, yeah, you are. You like Marvin Gaye's better.
Yes.
I don't. Anyway, about shawarma, the best way to describe it is that it's the rough equivalent of Greek. Now, do you say heroes or gyros?
Well, there's the right way to say it, which is their way, and then there's the way that you can get your order right.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
It's gyro. That's how they say it.
Heroes.
But, if you say that, they'll laugh at you and then spit in it. So I say gyro, or you won't get your order.
I thought a gyro was like a thing that kept spinning around like a dreidel.
That's exactly right.
The best way to describe it is it's the rough equivalent of Greek gyros, a shawarma. It's also been referred to as Arabic tacos. It's lamb or chicken or a combination of beef and lamb or even goat. Oh! It's cooked up on a bit spit, and the meat is carved off like gyros. Yeah, they have those in the windows of all the Middle Eastern restaurants. There's a whole bunch of them here.
By the way, goat is not bad, but lamb is yucky.
Ooh, goat?
Goat.
Oh.
And goat's milk is
yesterday. You sure got my goat. You idiot, Clarence.
So let me ask you.
Yes?
Do you like it colder or shawarma?
What's the other thing? It's falafels and falafel balls and shawarma. That's the only Middle Eastern food I know from. And, of course, Hamantashen. It's almost Purim, by the way. Even the Arabs, I understand, enjoy Hamantashen. And they love their Danish, which are now called, what do they change the name to?
Oh, Flowers of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah, flowers, something like that. Flowers of the Prophet Muhammad. They won't refer to it as Danish pastries anymore, but they still love them and they're not going to give them up. In other words, they're pissed off, but not that pissed off that they give them up, those Danish pastries. What a bunch of nonsense. Well, we don't want to get the Arab Street angry, you know, because of one word, OIL, baby. We don't want them to take a wrong turn on the freeway and shut off the spigot. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yank that.
Cube.
Almost 800 votes on the poll. I think if we'd have really put our minds to it, we could have gotten to 900 today. We got 789. What do you think? 900?
Yeah, you can do it.
WQAM, hello. QAM.
Yeah, after all these years, you still can't say catty corner.
WQAM, hello. QAM.
Neil, little Joey.
Hey, how do you like that?
I know. It's
Little Joey just turned 70. Not that we're getting old, the rest of us, but how do you like that? What a treat.
Well, I figured
How's your lovely school teacher wife doing?
She is teaching the little turd balls as we speak, so.
Great.
Well,
Well,
I
there's a
know-
guy that's still married. This is very unusual.
Yes, and I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, so.
Wow.
I know. Isn't it scary?
That is scary.
I know.
So what are you doing these days? Selling drugs or something?
No, I actually made full circle. I told you. I got out of the drug business. I became a CPA, and now I'm working for a drug business as a CPA. So.
Excellent. There you go. A real good scam artist, man. That's
Exactly. You got to
doing
figure out how
very
to
well.
stay in the drug business. So.
Right. Well, especially if you're from Colombia.
No, I'm not from Colombia, but that that won't preclude people from doing that. But anyway,
You're not Colombian?
No.
Who the hell am I thinking of that's Colombian? Are you Venezuelan?
No.
Where's your people
My
from?
parents were from Cuba.
You're Cuban?
No,
now he
I'm not.
tells me
You
after
tell
all
that.
these years, for crying out loud. I never knew that.
The
I
way
thought-
he's dressed.
Who am I confusing
skin is
him
white.
with? Who's from Colombia that we know?
I think Orlando was.
Get out of here. Orlando was as Cuban as Fidel Castro, man, as Elianito.
Trust me.
Yo, believe you
A
me.
New Jersey
he was,
Cuban, no
He
less.
was Cuban, and boy, oh boy, talk about a closet case. I mean, he was a good guy. He was a-
All right.
Neil, God.
No, that's Kurt. That's another closet case. Well, listen, it's great hearing from you.
Same here. I think I might be up in your neck of the woods this summer, so
Really? Well,
I won't drop by to bother you.
give a real loud shout out there. Come by Woodbine. You'll see me there plunging my guts out.
All right. Well, hey, congratulations, Neil.
Thanks, Joey. Take care
All
of
right,
yourself.
man. Take care.
Bye. There's a good guy, little Joey. Haven't heard.
Oh, and you put little Joey on the air, and you won't put me on the air.
Gilbert will be in the corner crying now. I should have mentioned that to him.
Mhm.
That, he's turned Gilbert's life into a pile of mung, into a pile of donkey dung.
Why doesn't Gilbert
You
understand
put
that?
on the air that little Joey all the time, and but you won't put me on, and you bastard, you Nazi, Hitler.
My favorite was those appearances we go out and do, and Gilbert would be there, and he'd go off in the corner and cry. I'm talking physically. I'm not exaggerating.
Right.
He would
No.
cry because we weren't paying enough attention to him.
That's right.
He wasn't the center of attraction. And then, of course, Rick Riley latched onto him, and then look what happened to Rick's career right after that. Oh, by the way, the one thing about Rick Shaw, I was thinking this in the shower this morning, kind of amusing, is that I don't know Rick that well. I think, we've ever spoken like more than 50 words on the air, but I think of all the people in this business that he probably detests the most is Rick Riley, and I don't think he would be reluctant to admit it, unlike some other people I know.
I don't hate Rick Riley.
He hates him. I
Who
didn't say you. You're
Okay.
getting very defensive about it now. Isn't he defensive, Josh?
Yeah, he is.
Awfully defensive. Probably getting red in the face, too.
We buried our hatchets.
Yeah, you buried it all right. That's what Duff said. WQAM, hello. QAM. Now that was definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, that was special.
That was really
Happy
special. He
anniversary.
worked on that and worked on that, and then finally, out it came. Like a giant BM. WQAM, hello.
Happy anniversary.
WQAM, hello.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
This is Greg.
Greg?
Yes, it is.
Greg Reed?
No, Cooper, actually.
I sure hope not, because I wouldn't speak to him. I'll guarantee you that.
Well, don't know who he is, but glad I don't either.
He's our former general manager. What's up, Greg?
Oh, I know tomorrow's the big 30 deal. And
Top 30, man.
Packed with. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. It'll probably be packed with a lot of highfalutin folk calling in for congrats. But I'm a guy that, from the lower end of the spectrum, spent 10 years incarcerated at a local institution, day correctional institution.
Wow.
Listen to Neil faithfully. He got me through that time. I just want to tell him I love him for everything he did during that period, a ways back during the career. This was, I guess, from 88 to about 97. And he's just the best. He got me through that time. I mean, I'm sure he won't expect to hear a lot of calls like that. It'll be, like I say, people from the higher end of the spectrum. I'm doing great now. 3 houses, been out since '98, and I'm doing fantastic now.
Good.
But Neil got me through that. He really did.
Excellent. I'll pass it along. Thanks a lot, Pally.
Okay, thank you.
And don't do it again. How do you like that? Be sure to tell Neil that guy.
Yeah, I'll pass that along right away.
Okay. 12:57 at 560 WQM. We got Jim Mandich at 4, preceded by the Kimba Bocamper show. Well, it ain't really the Kimba Bocamper show. It's the No Show, is what it is. It's the old Mo Show, which is now a No Show. It's a revolving dough from 2 to 4.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Oh, this is honest. This is not a tumor. It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Well, I'm airing out my package on the internet with real groupies on the bus with us. The Love Fest, they're the best with the skills that make you grin. Me and Scott dropped trout and we never went limp. And all the chicks walked us up and down the spots and made us both kind of hot, X-rated to watch. And of all the web streams out there from coast to coast, it's the one video you're downloading the most. Like Pamela and Tommy, their little show. We had our sex points immortalized on video. Yeah, buying this tape will be part of the reason why the sales of my CDs will be leaping. It's a Kid Rock, Scott staffing the girls. Buy yourself a copy now, sucker. We got our willies hanging out now, baby. Got the short pants down with the camera rolling out now, baby. Rock stars like this song. We got our willies hanging out now, baby. Children from dance the rock star way. Now, baby, you can see its back piece from a mile away.
I got news for you. I don't want to see Kid Rock with his clothes on, with his clothes off. Maybe in a box would be good. I don't want to see him.
Okay.
Do I have to see him?
I'll take all those pictures down.
Good. Matt Dillon, I don't mind seeing him. Now, there's a guy...
Right.
Who, quite frankly, has really come from one, at least from my perspective, from where my fat ass is sitting. I used to despise Matt Dillon. He just really got on my nerves.
He bugged me, too.
He was just annoying. He was in like 8,000 movies, The Cotton Club, and just a whole bunch of other real garbage, He just was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I think it started with Drugstore Cowboy. Am I right?
I don't disagree.
Maybe that wasn't the very beginning, but he sure was very good in that.
That's the first time we noticed it.
Right. Well, we noticed a different Matt Dillon. He stopped trying to be like Marlon Brando and whatever else he was trying to be, and he started like being just himself. His brother, by the way, got extraordinarily ugly, Kevin Dillon.
Did he?
I just mentioned that. But anyway, Matt Dillon crashes the Oscars, says this article. It says, out of the expansive, talented ensemble of Paul Haggis's Crash, the Academy... Now, what's the difference between hummus and haggis? The Academy has yanked Matt Dillon, the rock-jawed former teen heartthrob. Well, he ain't no teen heartthrob no more, but he's 41, and in the movie he looks pretty old. Dillon's turn as a ferociously racist cop landed the 41-year-old actor his first Oscar nomination, and at the March 5th Oscar Gala this Sunday, where Jon Stewart's going to be the MC, by the way, and I sure hope he's a lot funnier than he was last night on Larry King. Oh, Larry, why did you do that to him? The statuette will either go to him, George Clooney for Syriana. I'll get back to you, Syriana. Paul Giamatti, Cinderella Man, Jake Gyllenhaal for Broke-Ass Mounting, or William Hurt, A History of Violence. Well, how come we haven't heard nothing about that movie, A History of Violence?
I haven't either.
Anybody seen it?
No.
Never heard a word about it.
Anyone?
Nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture, Crash details the impact of racism on colliding characters in L.A., though the cast includes Don Cheadle, Terrence Howard, and Sandra Bullock, who's got a very minor role, by the way. Dillon's menacing but humanistic police officer has been singled out more than any other. How come they left what's-his-name out of there, Tarzan?
I don't know. Why? Johnny Weissmuller?
No, the guy that plays
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser. He's also got kind of a... he's not very good in that, to be honest.
I thought he was all right. He
He
didn't have a lot to do.
He and Sandra Bullock, well, first of all, they were married, and so I guess maybe that couple just was a minor part. After starting out in Hollywood as a teen star, Dillon expanded out of that mold, beginning with Gus Van Sant's See that? Drugstore Cowboy in 89. Man, have I got my thumb on it or what? That's when he became Matt Dillon that we know today and like a lot. Now, I will say this. The movie is great. I wouldn't say that he's great in the movie. He's very good. And in fact, there's no one person in it who I would say is great.
I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
Oh, the Iranian guy. Oh, I'm sorry, Persian.
Yeah, he was great.
He was
right.
great. You cheat me.
Yeah. I wonder if he knows that Mel Blancs is dead. He's since mixed dramatic roles to Die for Beautiful Girls with comedic fare, singles, and There's Something About Mary. In August, he'll star in Factotum. Well, I'm not sure we can say that. An adaptation of the Charles Bukowski novel directed by Norwegian filmmaker Bent Hamer. Dillon plays the hard-drinking author's alter ego, Henry Chinaski. Crash is clearly a pinnacle of Dillon's career, though an unexpected one. It feels like it doesn't really have anything to do with me, he says, except I just showed up. And then it goes on with this interview, bada beep, bada boop. If you told me a little over 3 years ago when City of Ghosts, his directorial debut, premiered at Toronto, in 3 years' time things are going to be great, I never would have believed it, he said. I like that. City of Ghosts at the Toronto Film Festival, no doubt. Because it's like a real city. Anyway, so Matt Dillon is very good in this movie. Like I said, he's not great, but it's an accumulation of really excellent performances.
Right.
Now,
Good story.
See, I would say Magnolia, the acting is better.
I agree.
I mean, in Magnolia, and even Tom Cruise, as much as most people now are just nauseated with him, he's very, very good in there.
By the way, that's the thing with Tom Cruise. I can't stand him. I think he's a crazy person, but he can act when he wants to.
Yeah, and he was very good in that. And, of course, Jason Robards, who was dying literally and figuratively, because he was really dying in real life, he kept saying,
I'm dying over here.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman. Oh, I saw the last 10 minutes of Capote. Not Capote, I'm sorry, Kinsey.
Oh, yeah, I got to see that from the beginning.
I don't know that I want to see Capote. He's just I'm just tired of those kind of...
The more previews I see, the less I want to see it.
I don't think it's for me, you know?
Yeah.
I'll let Josh watch it.
By the way, I agree with the Magnolia statement, the acting, but I think Crash was a better movie.
Yeah.
Let me put it to you this way: they're both excellent. See, why do people always feel compelled to put Magnolia down? I don't know what it is about that. Why is there?
Because of the frogs and.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, I'm
the
not crazy
ends
about
at
the
end.
frogs either, but like I said, most of them stay in Quebec. I mean, the frogs make it a bad movie that detracts from it? I think
the loose ends make it a bad movie.
What other movie did you ever see that had that kind of a thing in it? You know?
Frogs
some
flying from the
cheesy
sky.
sci-fi movie or something like that.
I gotta say, no, that was a new one. That was a new twist.
I mean, you've heard the song "It's Raining Men" by the Weather Girls, but "It's Raining Frogs," that's a new one on us, eh?
Oh, you must not have ever lived in Hollywood.
It's a fine movie, and William H. Macy is great in that movie, and what's her name, Julianne Moore, and everybody that's in that movie is sensational.
Yep.
And the guy that plays the cop that we can never think of what his name is, who's a very, very good actor.
John C. Reilly.
Very good. 567-0560, pound 560 on the Verizon Singular Wireless line. Look at that phone. Is this special or what, huh? WQAM, hello. $30 years later, and this is what we're left with these phones. This is what I'm left with. See, you weren't on last week. You weren't on the week before that. You're not going to be on this week, and you ain't going to get on the week after Sukkot either, okay? Even after Purim. So just give it. And that was the only line flashing there, too. I think this moment right now, this capsulizes the 30 years I've been on the air in this town better than anything else. Right at this moment. Put it in a freeze frame, you know? Just amazing, astonishing. Nobody would believe it. That's why when you're always giving me this crap about writing a book about these years, nobody would believe any of it. They'd think it was pure fiction.
Well, Oprah would believe it.
Yeah, well, she'd believe anything. Bitch. WQAM, hello. WQAM, hello.
Videodrome.
You know, I may just go back to my pile, because even I'm just nonplussed by this crowd. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
You can't win with a black quarterback, and the Holocaust never happened.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. WQAM, hello. 567, this is my last call for calls. And you know something? As a tribute to myself, I might just take off tomorrow on my 30th anniversary, based on this response here today. This is just pathetic. And people think that I'm overly critical of South Florida or anything about it. And please don't give me a song and dance about the calls on the sports shows, man. It's all the same 20 people. You know, even Wayne had his finger on that years ago. When this station first did that all sports format, even he was onto that. It's the same 10, 20 people over and over on every show talking the same crap, asking the same stupid questions. And we're getting really close to that NFL draft, don't forget. It's only a month and a half away. WQAM, hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Happy 30th, man.
Thanks, man.
Can't believe you made it this long down here, but
Especially with this crap, man. It's just amazing. It's just mind-boggling.
yeah, not only being on the radio, but just living in this town.
Yeah.
But besides that, can I add something to your poll? Or is it too
Go ahead.
late?
Go ahead.
How about unbelievable?
Oh, you mean for the poll for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Pally.
It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Oh, boy. I'm trying to write that. My pen won't right now. I think it was that last flurry of calls that got me. Unbelievable. That's cute. 5670560. We're waiting for the intelligentsia to start calling in. Remember that guy before said that that's tomorrow that those people are going to call in.
That's right.
I forgot.
All those contrived calls I set up.
Right. WQAM, hello. QAM.
Yes, I wanted to ask George if he was going to see any of the movies at the Miami Film Festival and if he recommended any.
Yeah. And?
That's it.
Oh. He's asking you, not me.
He was asking me?
Yes.
I don't know the answer.
Oh. WQAM, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Neil, I got an idea for you about how to stretch out for another 30 years and really drive Greg Reed crazy.
Yeah.
Put together all of those old Best of Neil, the way, remember you used to run them in the summer? The Best of Neil shows?
No more of that.
I know, but you could run that for another 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Or
Greg Reed's long gone, man. He's history. He's out.
Another thing you could do is take all those great bits that the FCC won't let you play anymore.
Yeah.
Sell them all to Sirius Radio or XM. Let them play them there.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, that's a good idea. Then
I got another great
over
idea.
to them and listen to them instead of us. That's a really good idea. Yeah. Like I said, I got a lot of stuff here. I'm going to get through all of it between now and 2. I am. I don't know what happened there. I must have had like a momentary lapse of judgment. Mm-hmm. Or maybe those 6 ice cream
I was
sandwiches
just going to say that, yeah.
Finally
sugar shock.
The blood sugar finally spilled over into my whatever.
Rectum.
Yeah. But enough of that. Tomorrow we can just really revel in all these fantastic. I'm sure that the upper crust are going to be just lined up by the thousands to call in.
That's right.
To send their best. 12 minutes, and this New Orleans stuff, seriously, when is this going to stop? When are they going to stop wasting hour after hour after hour with these silly-ass people with their stupid outfits on, drunk as a skunk and running around like, hey, everything's great.
Are they showing any boobs? I mean, breasts. Yeah.
No.
So then what's the point?
No, they're showing a lot of boobs, just no breasts. 12 minutes after 1 at 560 QAM.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Bush ignored the city of New Orleans. Yes, some of the people down there say he failed. Stuffs the people in the Astrodome like cattle, while half the National Guard was in Iraq. He cut funding for their levies, looters causing anarchy. In Aruba we made a bigger deal. In search for Natalie Holloway, for one white girl we drained a lake, and even asked for help from the Navy SEALs. George Bush was vacationing in Crawford. I guess next year there'll be no Mardi Gras. Girls Gone Wild needs the city of New Orleans, or they'll have to send their film crew to Florida.
God forbid. 118 at 560. Winn-Dixie Stores announced today that it's going to sell or close another 35 stores.
All right.
Bringing the total of 361 since the regional supermarket operator filed for bankruptcy protection last year. Winn-Dixie said it plans to close 28 stores in Florida, 3 in Georgia, 2 in Alabama, and 2 in Louisiana because they're not meeting the company's financial goals. Maybe people just don't want to buy that mystery meat wrapped in those,
opaque plastic packages?
Those packages you can't see through, right. Over the past several months, we have thoroughly reviewed our store base in an effort to ensure Winn-Dixie is able to emerge from bankruptcy as a healthier and more competitive company, President and CEO Peter Lynch said in a statement. They currently operate 585 stores in Florida, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Mississippi, and the Bahamas, yada, yada, yada. Here are the stores that are going down. And most of them right there in your neck of the woods. Davie, 4460 Weston Road. Closed. Going to close. West 18th Avenue in Hialeah. Sterling Road in Davie. Oh, no. Well, it's a good thing Mom ain't with us no more, you know. Well, that's been there a long time. You know, the one on the corner of Sterling and Davie Road Extension. You know that one?
I do.
1707 East Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale. Pompano Beach, 1199 South Federal Highway. 1885 North Pine Island Road in Plantation. I believe that's the one on the corner of Pine Island and Sunrise, I do believe. The one where P.D. Bolger, the assassin shops, or at least used to. Piece of crap. 18350 Northwest 7th Avenue, Miami. 15900 West State Road 84 in Sunrise. And 2145 Northeast 164th Street in North Miami Beach. Closing too. Also West Palm and whatever, but I'm not looking at the other page. In fact, they don't even list it. It says skip to page 2 and there's nothing on page 2. Nice going, Sun Sentinel, you idiots. By the way, thanks to the Sun Sentinel and Tom Jick especially for the fantastic, heartwarming recognition. You know, 20th and 21st, Tom did those big stories, you know, and the big articles and the whole deal. I got the big plaque with you, and that's it. That's okay. That was little Tommy that wrote, Neil's going to have a tough time. He's going to be out of touch doing a show from Toronto and yada, yada, yada. And, of course, they never admitted that he was full of crap, since he's out of touch most of the time getting wined and dined in L.A., where they can, have him write all those puff pieces about these TV shows that are off the air in 5 weeks. Nice going, Tommy. You're right on top of it, baby. Christian movement moving into Palmetto State. See, every now and then I have one of these bad... I'm just not lucid, you know? Mm-hmm. And I start hallucinating and believing that something might change, even for a moment.
Why? That's just a fantasy.
Exactly. I do indulge in those fantasies very briefly, and then, of course, a day like this brings me immediately right back to, to the usual. Because one piece of advice I always had to people that came to South Florida in this business for the first time.
Yeah, don't.
Well, beside that, don't expect anything, and you'll never be disappointed. Those are my words. Don't expect a thing, and they'll never let you down. From his rural home near Lodi, California, Corey Brunell keeps close watch over the news from South Carolina, and he likes what he sees. Turning the state into a promised land for conservative Christians will be easier than he had thought, he says. Brunell, a 30-year-old financial advisor and founder of Christian Exodus, believes thousands of religious conservatives across the USA agree with him when he says their influence on government is diluted by liberals and Republicans who have failed to do what mainstream Americans elected them to do. The answer he came up with in late 2003, move like-minded Christians to one state, South Carolina. And I say, we'll pack you a bacon cheeseburger, okay? We'll pack you a whole bunch of sliders from Royal Castle.
Why couldn't it have been like South Dakota?
No, South Carolina is perfect.
No, it isn't. I got to drive through there.
Home of Susan Smith. The state was a logical choice that already is conservative, having played a major role in the rise of the Republican Party since Ronald Reagan. And it's home to 750,000 Southern Baptists and Bob Jones University, a fundamentalist Christian institution, some of the real Farbissinagoyim. Brunell's plan is to recruit conservative Christians to move there and tip the scales further to the right. Further to the right. In other words, can you say F-A-S-C-I-S-T? Brunell is yet to move to South Carolina himself, he says, because he's too busy recruiting. But he says he's working out the logistics for his family to relocate. See, the born-agains are recruiting now. Anita Bryant used to tell us that it was all the homos that were recruiting, but now the born-agains are recruiting.
Well, it's good when they do it.
Oh. With a decisive majority, Brunell says his group would be able to pass laws that line up with their biblical principles and their interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, laws that include outlawing abortion and homosexual relations, allowing governmental displays of Christian symbols, and ending state-funded education.
And
these are real Farbissin, man. It's a Christian country, and the rest of you, to hell with you. Get out. Okay, I did. Considering the size of the exodus so far, only about 20 people have moved to the Palmetto State, most of them in the past year. Brunel's optimism might seem a little bit quixotic. Still, he believes the movement will succeed because of the support his small band of immigrants already is finding in South Carolina. Plus, he expects more families to move this year, maybe like 2 or 3 more, maybe 5 or 6. He's picked 6 counties as the first targets for local yokel action, and the ones where he once estimated it would take 500 immigrants to turn the tide, he says now it will take 100. By 2008, he hopes to see a strong presence of Christian Exodus-backed candidates in all 6 counties and anticipates an overwhelming impact statewide elections in 2014. The idea isn't as far-fetched as it may sound, said Laura Olson, a political science professor at Clemson University who studies religion's influence on politics. In many states, I would say no chance, but in a state like South Carolina, where nothing could be finer, where lots of people are in on that sort of boat to begin with, it's the sort of thing that's not unfathomable, she said. Edward Gausted, professor emeritus of history and religious studies at University of California, Riverside, on the other hand, said, I think it would have little chance of going anywhere unless there was a secession of South Carolina from the Union, to which we say, yeah, just like the frogs there in Montreal and Quebec. You want to see if they were smart here, they'd tell them, bye-bye, we'll pack you a smoked meat sandwich, get lost. Right?
Right. Je me souviens, baby.
Exactly. Chimpanzee. Doug Thompson, your buddy, writes in the CapitolHillBlue.com, The Rant. He says, my high school Latin teacher loved the phrase, veritas vos libera, how do you say that? Liberabit. Liberabit.
Okay. Nice piano player.
Love a rabbit. The truth shall set you free. Nice sentiments for the Romans, but in these politically charged times, perhaps the operative phrase should be, who shall set truth free? God knows there aren't a lot of truth floating around the halls of power in Washington these days. In fact, truth took a sabbatical decades ago and never returned. For most of his 5 years in office, President George W. Bush considered truth an expendable commodity. Truth just couldn't justify his desire to invade Iraq, so he used manufactured intelligence. Truth wasn't enough to launch his war on terrorism, so he launched a campaign that depended more on fear-mongering and paranoia than actual fact. In April 2004, Bush told the American people that any time you hear the U.S. government talking about a wiretap, it requires a court order. 19 months later, he admits he signed an executive order 3 years earlier, that allowed the National Security Agency to wiretap phone calls of Americans without a court order.
There are such things as roving wiretaps?
That in any reasonable definition of the word is a lie, but politicians never admit they lie. They issue clarifications. Corner a Republican about Bush's lying, and he or she will most likely say something like, well, Bill Clinton lied about Monica Lewinsky. Democrats will then all say Clinton lied about with sex, not national security. Applying relatively to dishonesty is a favorable ploy of politics. Yes, one side says, our boy did lie, but the other side's lies are bigger. Sorry, I can't buy that. You're either honest or you're not. You either tell the truth or you don't. George W. Bush lies. So did Bill Clinton. So did Bush's daddy. Remember Read My Lips? Ronald Reagan lied all the time. Jimmy Carter claimed, I'll never tell you a lie, which in itself was a lie. Gerald Ford may have been too dumb to lie, but he wasn't in office long enough to build a solid record of dishonesty. Richard Nixon, LBJ, the prosecution rests. Lying has become such a pervasive part of political culture that those who don't lie even consider it dishonest. That those who lie don't even let me read that again. Lying has become such a pervasive part of political culture that those who lie don't even consider it dishonest, like Greg Reed. It's spin on our side or our position. Truth has no bearing, carries no credence, and lacks even consideration. Suppose for a moment that when confronted with questions on the Watergate break-in, Richard Nixon would have said, yes, some of my staff got overzealous, and out of hand I've accepted the resignations. A little uproar, but the matter would have faded into history while Nixon completed his second term. Suppose Bill Clinton, when confronted with the questions about Monica Lewinsky, would have looked at the press corps and said, yes, I did have sex with that woman, Ms. Lewinsky. Then it would have become a matter of adultery between him and Hillary, but it probably would have blown over, pun fully intended. Carrying this fantasy even further, suppose Bush had told Congress and the American people that we don't have any real proof that Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, but we think he does, based on past history, and we're pretty sure he conspired with Osama bin Laden to plan the 9/11 attacks. Congress might have told him to go back and get the facts before launching an attack that has cost more than 2,200 American lives, countless Iraqi civilian casualties, and destroyed America's credibility on the world stage. Then again, Congress, caught up in the post-9/11 bloodlust, might have said, go ahead, Saddam's a bad man, bomb him into the Stone Age. We'll never know what decisions might have been made because the decisions that were made were based on lies, not on truth. Bush claims he launched the war to free the people of Iraq. What we really need is a war to free an outmoded concept called truth.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QA. Rock solid.
An hour ago listening to you. First of all, Nick Carter has more talent in his right toe than you will ever have, and he's not a pineapple head, you stupid fat faggot.
Who's the monkey that's more fun than a barrel of humans?
Party with the animals. I was drinking Jack Daniels all the time.
Who never says a word? If there's trouble, he's behind it.
I admitted that Dick Cheney's an ass.
And if there's a chance for adventure,
I guess I'm the black sheep of the family.
He's into it.
I recognize that Americans want our troops to come home as quickly as possible. This will not happen on my watch. We intend to stay forever.
Curious George.
Our children and our grandchildren are grown for body parts.
Now, he's in a whole new world. And still up to his same old tricks.
Well, maybe I need to learn to communicate better.
Welcome to the world of Curious George.
Fool me once, shame on you. To fool me, can't get fooled again.
34% approval rating. Let's hear it for W, the Bumbler. And, of course, 18% for Dead-Eye Dick. Okay, here's the recipes that I was asking for before, and I'm kind of like sick to my stomach reading them.
Yeah.
Hummus, pureed chickpeas. Ever see a chickpea?
Yeah, lately.
Pureed chickpeas, sesame tahini, and herbs and spices used as a spread on pita by, and it says here, camel jockeys. You're going to really piss off the Arab street using language like that.
I'm telling you.
And then haggis, it says a revolting concoction using sheep's lungs, stomach, heart, lungs, oatmeal, and spices. I think lungs is in there. Considered the national dish of Scotland. Yeah. Maybe that's why they act so strange up there, laddie.
Just can't get enough lung.
Oh, God. Maybe that's why they walk around with them kilts and nothing underneath.
No, that's not why.
You've got to stick your spoon in it, lad. Don't worry, it's not going to break.
It says, frankly, I wouldn't give you a pinch of poop for either one. I second that emotion wholeheartedly. The New York Times sued the U.S. Defense Department yesterday, demanding that it hand over documents about the National Security Agency's domestic spying program. Now, don't you sometimes wonder, I'm sitting here reading these stories, and do you think that a person that calls a radio show and goes, oh, like that, do you think he really cares about these things that I'm reading or anything that's going on in the world?
No, they just care about when you're going to pick the phone up again so they can do it again.
Oh, I see. Well, not today, by the way. And something I'm really thinking very seriously is as a gift to myself on my 30th anniversary tomorrow, wouldn't it be special if I never took one call tomorrow?
Don't tease.
Wouldn't that? I'm going to think about that.
How are you going to prevent their outpouring of affection if you do that?
I've already seen a preview today. Believe you me, I've already seen the real preview. Affection is not a word that exists in the vocabulary of South Floridians. It's mostly hostility and hate.
How are we going to take all those contrived phone calls that I arranged?
I guess we may. Well, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll have to tune in and find out. And I know you wouldn't be stupid enough to do that again. Especially after recent events.
No.
The Times wants a list of documents, including all internal memos and emails about the program of monitoring phone calls without court approval. It also seeks the names of the people or groups identified by it. The Times in December broke the story that the NSA had begun, and after they sat on it for a year, by the way, the NSA had begun intercepting domestic communications believed linked to Al-Qaeda following the 9/11 attacks. That provoked renewed criticism of the way that George W. Bush is handling his declared war on terrorism. Bush called the disclosure of the program to the Times a shameful act, and the U.S. Justice Department has launched an investigation into who leaked it. Probably that guy in Ohio. The Times had requested, or maybe Ricky Martin. The Times had requested the documents in December under the Freedom of Information Act, but sued upon being unsatisfied with the Pentagon's response that the request was being processed as quickly as possible, according to the 6-page suit filed at federal court in New York. You go, Times. Once in a while they get it right. Sometimes they're a little bit slow. Sometimes they stick Edith Miller on a story that she's incapable of giving any answers to. She's an idiot. The federal officials, this is about the retired Army Lieutenant Colonel who's on the no-fly list.
Mm-hmm.
The federal officials who are busy assuring Americans that they've got their act together when it comes to managing port security aren't inspiring much confidence with their approach to airline security. When Dr. Robert Johnson, a heart surgeon who did his active duty within the U.S. Army Reserve before being honorably discharged with the rank of lieutenant colonel, arrived at the Syracuse airport near his home in upstate New York last month for a flight to Florida, he was told he could not travel. Why? Johnson was told that his name had been added to the federal no-fly list as a possible terror suspect. Johnson, who served in the military during the first Gulf War and then came home to serve as Northern New York's first board-certified thoracic surgeon and an active member of the community in his hometown of Sackett's Harbor, is not a terror suspect. But he is an outspoken critic of the war in Iraq, who mounted a scrappy campaign for Congress as the Democratic challenger to Republican Representative John McHugh in 2004, and who plans to challenge McHugh again in upstate New York's sprawling 23rd District. Johnson, who eventually made it on the flight to Florida, is angry, and like a growing number of war critics whose names have ended up on no-fly lists, some of them prominent, many of them merely concerned citizens, he wants some answers. Why would a former lieutenant colonel who swore an oath to defend and protect our country pose a threat of terrorism, he asked, in an interview with the Pittsburgh Press Republican newspaper. So far, he's not getting satisfactory responses to his questions. No one at Syracuse Airport would tell him why he was on the list, nor has the Federal Transportation Security Administration, which compiles the no-fly files, been forthcoming, except to say that names are added to the watch list on the recommendations and information received from federal agencies and information including intelligence and law enforcement agencies, yada, yada, yada. The story's gotten a good deal of media attention in upstate New York, and Johnson is speculating with reporters about whether his name ended up on the list because he ran against McHugh as a veteran who boldly declared that, I know the ravages of war and I know the sacrifices that have to be made when a war is in our national interest. This war is not in our national interest. McHugh's office denies any wrongdoing by the Republican congressman, a senior member of the powerful House Armed Services Committee, who brags about working closely with the Pentagon and intelligence agencies. Johnson is not backing off his call for an explanation. The physician candidate told the Plattsburgh paper that the secrecy surrounding I said Pittsburgh before, Plattsburgh. The secrecy surrounding his name's addition to the no-fly list and the prospect that it might be there because of his anti-war views is outrageous. This is like McCarthyism in the 50s, says Johnson. Well, let's bring him back again, Joe McCarthy. What do you say? And Roy Cohen and David Shine, G.
I'll
David
go get a
Shine.
shovel.
He kind of took a shine to G. David. It was all a big gay thing, but then again, we don't want to hear about that. 567-0560. I'm giving the phone number. I'm certainly not taking any calls, but I just give it out to keep you off the street. 884 votes. See, we'll get to 900, top of the hour, and if Josh would have pushed it, we'd have made 1,000 today. But he's got, we can't really lean on him too much, because first of all, he's headed to like 4,000 stories in the last, since you've been on. Secondly, he doesn't realize I'm sending a check in the next couple of days to keep him pacified.
Hey, happy anniversary.
I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. I thought you guys were supposed to send me a gift.
I did.
That's okay. You deserve it. They're treating you like crap, which is, and that, of course, is, and I feel guilty because it's partly because you're connected to the show.
Yeah, partly.
Yeah, and like I said, it's entirely because you're involved with a show. If you're involved with a sports show, you'd already be making like $80,000 a year.
And be able to park under the building.
I don't know what you're laughing about. It's true. If you were like had your head up Clarence's ass, you'd be making the big bucks. You'd have your own.
It's already pretty crowded
You'd have
up
your
there.
own Jaguar and your own parking spot out there. You'd probably get the water Nazi spot.
Let me go lube it up then.
The spot? Yeah, Duff will tell you what spot to lube up. 884 votes. People in South Florida are rude and hostile. 433. Dumb as dirt, 154. Mostly okay, 152. Yeah, harmless. The worst drivers in the world, 59. I hate this pool, 58. People in South Florida are the best. Solamente 8. It's been 8 for a long time. Friendly, 8. And geeks, solamente 2.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Lollipop, little boy?
Talk about your Teflon presidents. Woo, you ain't kidding. Goodbye, George. You gotta go, me oh my oh. You gotta go home 'cause you f***ed up bad on the bio.
Absolutely.
But you sure flew quick when it came to sick. Terry Shiloh. Cube. Son of a bush is a foot in your tush. Now say goodbye, yo.
Rectum.
Hi, Georgia. While people drowned, you played a round of relaxing golf. Well, he was on vacation. Priorities are not your cup of tea. That's evident. Oops. And no one cares to even prepare for the worst scenario. You were the one busy having fun, and that's a no-no. You'll investigate at a later date. That's real bullshit. So, think your situation. The ones that up should get locked up so it don't continue. But no one will get blamed like with Agent Flame. No heads will roll. Of course. And as for this, it'll be a slap on the wrist and no charges filed. What a surprise. 'Cause you're a liar. No one gets fired with each new meso. Nobody. A new death toll, a slip in the polls, that's no problemo. He'll fix it. Your spin machine will deal with New Orleans, 'cause that's their job-o. As per usual. Son of a bush is a foot in your tush. You're an F-hole. We just don't understand. You got blood on your hands, but want no blame. Oh, I'm a problem solver. You made it obvious, at least to most of us. You have no shame. Oh, shame? What's that? And what's with that smirk, you stupid jerk, when people have died? Oh, son of a beach, you should be impeached, and we mean pronto. Now do us all a favor and get the out. You hear? Jackass.
147, I think jackass is an understatement. Anyway, I never mentioned it on the air. I mentioned when he waddled into the studio. Congratulations to Brian and Allison, the Beast. Got a wedding invitation in the mail yesterday. Lovely thing. Did you get yours?
Actually, I'm told that that's a pre-invitation to alert you that an invitation is going to be followed.
Oh, I see. July 3rd, 2006. Got their pictures here. Fireworks will fly as two rivals collide, not in the swamp, but not in the Orange Bowl, but the Trump Sonesta, Sunny House, Florida. And it's got she's wearing a gator outfit, and he's got, of course, the hurricane thing on. Isn't that sweet?
That's sweet.
Save the date, July 3rd, you turd. Anyway, nice going. It goes there, right there. Should give hope to everybody, anything alive. The Beast landed a bride. More than 50 killed in string of Baghdad attacks. More bad news from over yonder, just in. At least 25 people were killed and 43 others wounded tonight their time, in a blast near a Shiite mosque, the most recent in a string of bombings in Iraq's capital. In all, at least 55 people were killed today in Baghdad in the latest violence since an explosion last week that heavily damaged a revered Shiite shrine, further frayed relations on the Arab street. No, it doesn't say that. I just made that up. Officials said more than 170 people were wounded in 7 attacks Tuesday in Baghdad. And it goes on with some few over here. It's just they're dying like flies. And that's because we're liberating the man. Freedom's on the march. It's coming. And so is electricity and water and all these other things. And safety.
Right.
Republican governors are openly... Oh, and you know what? I gave it 30 seconds thought. About 30.
About 30, man.
About not taking any calls tomorrow. And you know what I said? You know what my final resolution was?
Yeah, screw that.
Yes.
Oh, you're not gonna?
I'm not going to take any calls tomorrow.
Huh. Well,
Why, you thought I... Huh?
I better call all those people back.
Get out of here. You didn't call anybody.
I didn't call anybody.
Good. Because first of all, it'd be so boring. I don't like doing boring. I mean, it's inevitable that when you're on 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you work 3-4 weeks a year like I do, sooner or later there's going to be some boring spots. But the idea of doing something that you know is going to be boring, just butt kissing and happy anniversary, enough of that already. Okay, I'd rather go back and play a whole bunch of bits and do a little verbal intercourse. Over the history of the whole thing, thanks to Sid Levin, thanks to dead people like Dick Casper, Gary Lawrence, who's still alive, I believe, I hope. The people that helped me make this money, because believe me, that's all it's all about at this point, trust me. If there were ever any doubts, not that there were, but if there had been, after this experience today, it just proves to you it is what it is. Just like Michael said in Godfather 3 to Vincent, to Andy Garcia, you are what you are, and that's my message to South Florida. You are what you are. And thank you for helping me make a very, very handsome living and be able to go and plunge my guts in Woodbine and do whatever the hell I want. It is what it is. It ain't going to get no better. It isn't going to change. Anyway, so why, you think I made the wrong choice?
No, absolutely not.
You of all people?
No, I'm just razzing you.
No. Republican governors are openly worrying about the Bush administration's latest stumbles, from the natural disaster of Hurricane Katrina to those of its own making on prescription drugs and port security, are taking an election year toll on the party back home, to which we say, all right. The GOP governors reluctantly acknowledge that the series of gaffes threatens to undermine public confidence in Bush's ability to provide security, which has long been his greatest strength and probably his only strength among voters. Safety, safety, safety! You've got solid conservatives coming up speaking like they haven't before. It's likely that something's going on at the grassroots. Republican Mark Sanford of South Carolina said, whether it's temporary or not remains to be seen, he'd be saying. The unease was clear in interviews of more than a dozen governors over the weekend, including nearly half the Republicans attending the winter meeting of the National Governors Association. The annual conference was taking place in a capital enthralled by the political firestorm over government plans to approve takeover operations at some terminals at 6 U.S. ports by a company owned by the UAE, the freaking Arabs, man. Some of the same people that bombed us on 9/11, that knocked down the Twin Towers and attacked the Pentagon, that hijacked 4 commercial airliners, that killed over 3,000 people. And when, just like your buddy Lou Dobbs said last night, when commerce, as your Treasury Secretary Snow is now talking, when commerce supersedes safety, and Homeland Security, then it's pretty obvious that the whole Homeland Security thing is just a trumped-up pile of crap. And you know something? If indeed this administration was involved in 9/11 and or knew about it, then maybe they realize that there probably isn't such a great threat of terrorism in the first place.
Unless they create it or allow it.
Right, exactly. They know it ain't going to happen again, because if it does, it'll probably be on their watch. It'll probably be with their
exactly.
Whatever.
They know it's not going to happen again because they haven't planned it.
Yeah. In other words, if you invade, if you're the only criminal in Broward County, for just as an example, and you might be, in your neighborhood, and you're doing stick-ups at convenience stores, it's easy for you to go public and say, guess what, for the next couple of months there aren't going to be any stick-ups at those convenience stores because I'm not going to do them. How do you know? Because I'm the one that's doing them. Anyway. This is kind of a Floridian-like. More than 500 counter-protesters held back by 300 police officers drowned out the message of a neo-Nazi group that marched through Orlando's historic Paramore neighborhood on Saturday, over the weekend. Didn't have time for this yesterday. Neo-Nazis in Orlando, what a concept. 22 members of the National Socialist Movement, some wearing khaki uniforms with swastika armbands, finished their march with a rally outside the federal courthouse that could not be heard over the jeering crowd. I thought probably a lot of people would have just figured it was the Bush crowd, just a presidential rally.
Same old.
The group shut down the rally 90 minutes early and left town. They hauled ass. They hightailed it out of there. 17 people were arrested, all of them from the crowd separated from the neo-Nazis by lines of police in riot gear. Police and civic leaders expressed pride that the event ended without the violence some had feared. I've lived here since '44, never been more proud of Orlando, Orange County, and Central Florida, said former legislator Alzo J. Reddick, one of the organizers of the Be Cool campaign that urged residents to ignore the march and the rally. Like Skokie all over again, okay? Neo-Nazis. Oh, and do I have time for this? The EPA won't oppose the U.S. Department of Defense and DuPont Company's plan to dump a wastewater byproduct of a deadly nerve agent into the Delaware River. The agency said it's assured of safe treatment for up to 4 million gallons of caustic wastewater, creating the treatment for VX, a chemical weapon with a pinhead-sized potency to kill a human. DuPont is treating VX for disposal at its Newport Chemical Depot in Indiana. One more good reason not to be in Indiana.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM. Shoot some quail, looking to have some fun, loading up the shotgun, but the guy's so blind he should be reading Braille. Did he have his eyes shut? Shot his friend in the coconut. Don't go hunting with Dick Cheney. Gotta try and set of glasses, like Mr. Magoo. He is blind as a bat in his helmet but hat. That's when the VP had a major snafu. As old as Magellan shot his friend in the melon. Don't go hunting with Dick Cheney. He can't see my old me. Please don't go hunting with Dick Cheney. Dick washed his hands in the river, tried to get the blood out of his favorite shirt. Poor Harry Weddington took it right in the chin. Next thing he knew, he was face down in the dirt. In a hospital bed, 'cause he got shot in.
I'm dying over here.
Hunting with Dick Cheney.
He can't see my old me. Please don't go hunting with Dick Cheney.
Bye, bye, bye! When it comes to sports.
Blue 89! Blue 89! Stand
We're the authority. Sports Radio 560, WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.